Alright, welcome back to the Hungry Lamb. Yesterday we left it on at the shady inn of Liang's friend. A beautiful lady, but she's married, so sad nobody in his age range will be able to stay with him. But yeah, we reached pretty far in the game, a point pretty far in the game considering all things considered, since our plan was to leave the other girls at that friend's place to sell them off to somebody rich and powerful, hopefully, so that they stay safe. And Liang and Mansui were then supposed to travel to Laozhou, whatever, the swine demon's palace, to defeat that swine demon. So yeah, let's go into this and hopefully we'll get there. We have like 2 chapters to go or so, but I doubt I'll be able to finish it tonight. These chapters are getting longer and longer and my voice is not holding up anymore. But yeah, let's just switch scenes and then load the game. Load? No. Here.
小张，老牛，你俩带女娃们去后厨弄点吃的，我和梁爷要单独聊一会儿。
For sure. Alright, let's talk. You know, I would love to have her as a very late game love interest, but yeah, that's probably not gonna work.
哎，好嘞，老板。
You did. After Kate spoke, the waiter and the burly man led the girls to the kitchen. Mansui eyed Kite wearily. Kyonghwa and the other lambs looked uneasy too. I mean, not long ago I almost got into it with that tough guy called Iron Ball, and now I'm chatting it up with his boss. It's definitely a bit strange. No, it's fine. Don't worry. It was all a mix-up. She's the one I was planning to bring you all to meet in the city. Someone trustworthy. Ooh, not sure if I would go that far, but at least somebody he knows. I introduced Kate to the lambs.
原来这里老伴就是梁爷要找的人。
Yes, correct. She's the one we were after.
梁爷要找的人原来是女人呀！
Mansui, shut up. You're 11 years old.
哦，是女人呀！
Yeah. Imagine all you want. Let's go. The lambs chimed in with their own reactions, but what caught me off guard was how they seemed more shocked that the person I was seeking was a woman than the fact that I was looking for the owner of a shady inn. Alright, you girls head to the kitchen now. I'll be there soon. I waved them off, urging the lambs to hurry.
好，我们走吧，不打扰梁爷和相好叙旧。
Yeah, you better not interrupt my sweet time with my sweet lady, alright? Go now. Mansui directed the other lambs towards the kitchen and muttered something under her breath, sounding a bit strange. What's with the mysterious lass?
我看这些女娃和你处得挺好的，你这确实不像是人牙子呀。
Thank you for trusting in me. Yes, I'm not so evil. As to not be nice to the girls, at least. Kite glanced at the reaction of the lambs and teased me. It's a long story, for sure. I sighed, planning to start from scratch and explain everything. Oh god, really? I told Kite about what went down in the last 20 days. Okay, good thing. I kind of got war flashbacks to metaphor where they repeated the same plot point over and over and over again in that one cutscene. I still cannot get over that fact. The writing in that game otherwise was so good, and then they were like, yeah, well, but you know he is. Yeah, but you know he is. And I was just done with it. Didn't help that I was already quite tired at that point in time. But okay. About 20 days back, Tang and I got roped into an escort job by Isan. We are going there, I see. Isan pulled a fast one on us, making us think we were just delivering a few lambs to a rich family to raise as their own. It wasn't until later that we learned those lambs were bound for Luoyang, where some powerful buyer would play with them until they died, or even eat them alive. Why are we repeating the same story we just played through? Sure, in fewer words, don't get me wrong, but why? Tang and I had a big fight over it. I didn't want those lambs to end up dead and wanted out of the job. Tang insisted on carrying on, lied to me, saying he'd cooperate. Things got heated, passing through Shanso. I ended up taking him out and burying him before heading to Haiso. Sure.
你还真把你那同伙杀了呀？
I did kill him. Yep, had to. No way we'd both make it here. But we had a stalemate. Had to be done.
洛阳的那个买家是谁？
I don't know. Can't say. Won't help you any.
行，那我就不知道吧。
Probably better even. Let's be honest.
所以，你现在是想让我帮你做完人牙子的活儿，把女娃都卖出去？
Would be helpful, yes. Yeah, trying to find a way to sell them off. Going right from a few years back, 100 taels of silver each. She looked a bit conflicted. What's up? Can't find a way? I frowned, asking.
不是找不到路子，只是现在不可能卖到100两。
Too cheap? Or too high?
连年大灾，西北的粮价翻了2、3倍，人牙子的活儿却没以前赚钱了。现在卖50两都难。
Oof. Impossible. Tang said the buyer in Luoyang was willing to pay 2,000 taels for just 4 of the lambs.
那你怎么不谈？那买家会如何对小娃？
Yeah, not good, not good.
能卖多少钱，取决于你想把小娃送到哪儿。若是把他们卖到黑沟栏，也能1人100两。但是他们估计活不了多久，哪怕活着，也是生不如死。
Yeah, they're way too young for the brothel. I'm sorry. Maybe to help out around there, but not for the job that they would have to do.
若是把他们卖去当童养媳，1人可以卖50两。
Child brides. Hot damn.
当童养媳要看命，遇见好的人，那是他们的福分；遇见不好的人，那便只能听天由命了。
Yeah, everything's up to fate if you put it like that, but okay. You only have these 2 options. The brothel and child brides.
是啊，这年头想卖个价钱，只能找到这2种路子。
Sounds nice. I looked down. Selling them to the brothel is out of the question. Selling them off as child brides could work. Sorry, but is that really the right thing to do?
梁，你要是不愿意将他们这么卖了，我倒还有一个办法。
Oh, what might that be? What's that? Kite suddenly suggested, grabbing my attention.
我这里稍微缺些人手，你可以把那2姐妹以1人5两的价格卖给我。
5 taels. Wow.
至于其他2个小娃， 你自己再给他们想想办法。若是需要介绍什么人，我可以帮你。
You know, she said the highest she could sell them off for was 50. Well, maybe 100 if we were to give them to a brothel, which we will not do, and she knows that. So now she wants 2 for 5. I hope it's at least 5 each, but holy, she really knows how to strike a deal, huh? And I'm not sure if well. Only 5 taels. I looked at Kite, finding the price too low.
因为给他们管吃管住，他们还做不了多少活儿。其实我是倒贴钱，有5两不错了。
In a way, true. But in the long run, aren't you gaining more through them than you're losing? Okay, depends on what you're trying to do with them. And with your inn. Kite explained slowly. I lowered my head in silence, biting my lower lip in thought. I trust Kite. She'd take good care of Hong-er and Sir. Maybe I could figure out something for Kyonghwa and Mansui later. But just 10 taels for all of this? And who knows if I'll even have any left after sorting everything out. I've been looking after them for so long, risking everything, getting rid of Tang, ditching Yisen's job, getting into all sorts of trouble along the way. I was planning to grab more money, head south and carve out a peaceful life from this chaotic world. And now I'm supposed to give up all my earnings or even lose money just so they can have a better life? What kind of deal is that? Am I really going to give up my own peace to ensure they're okay? Being this good isn't my usual style. I'm a wolf, ready to do anything to survive. Just keeping them alive is enough. Is it really worth being a total do-gooder?
梁，在这乱世之中，善良是有代价的。
True that, true that. Nothing comes free, especially in a world where everything is thrown upside down.
卖个好价钱，还是好人做到底？你要选哪个
？Kite's words hung in the air. After some inner struggle, I finally had my answer. Let's reconsider for now. Let me think it over some more. When faced with Kite's question, I didn't give her an immediate answer. There's been this voice inside me all along saying, get a good price for them. It said some other things too. I've done enough. I killed Tang to save these lambs. How can I care about them when I'm struggling to protect myself? But even though these thoughts kept rising in my head, I hesitated. I'll think it over.
好啊，你尽管考虑，我不急的。
Good that there's no rush here. Glad even.
天色不早，弄点东西吃呗。有事儿可以明天再说。
Sure thing. Let's talk tomorrow. With a slight smile, Kite stepped away for the moment. I ignored Kite's advice and didn't go straight to the kitchen for food. Instead, I wandered outside the inn, feeling restless. Like a confused wolf, I paced back and forth, hungry but unsure, not due to my inner struggle. Reflecting on the past 20 days only heightened my agitation. I'd be uncomfortable sending off these lambs as child prides. Too many bad people out there. What if they run into someone who beats or curses them? What if they're forced to have babies and die in childbirth? Or worse, what if they end up sold to the swine demon by whoever bought them? How would I have saved them at all, then? Not good. can't risk their future like that. Gurgle. The sky darkened, my stomach growled with hunger. Ugh. It's time to eat something. I walked into the inn with the sun behind me, heading towards the lobby. Inside, the innkeeper was tidying up tables while the burly man I taught a lesson to earlier was settling the inn's account books. I hadn't expected him to also handle account books. After asking about the kitchen, I was pointed in the right direction. A few steps later, I found myself in the kitchen. Surprisingly, all the lambs were here.
翠儿，方向那边倒。
What?
不，我就想用马。哎呀，你还小，不能用刀，用刀会切伤手的。
Okay, yeah, they're probably actually talking about sharp knives. I was thinking of a butter knife and was like, what? She can hold a butter knife? Who cares? Sure, if handled incorrectly, you can hurt yourself with a butter knife, don't get me wrong, but definitely not as dangerous as an actual sharp knife used in cooking.
姐姐小气。
Child safety is never fun, sir. I'm sorry.
哎呀，你这个碎娃，不是我小气，你划伤的手都没有药医。
Well, you know, I see some chili behind you. We can absolutely make it worse.
哎，好了好了，俩姐妹别为这事起了争执。红儿，让她学学呗，我教她用刀吧，也会看着她的。哎，既然穗儿姐都这么说了，那行吧。
Don't give in so easily.
C 姐姐真好，咱先用刀切啥？大蒜还是白菜？
Cabbage for you, child.
白菜吧，大蒜还没剥，不能切。
They all huddled by the stove in the back kitchen. Mansui stood in the center with Hongar and Sir on one side and Kyonghwa on the other. From afar, it seemed like the lass was showing Sir how to handle a knife. What are you all doing? I walked up, curious about their activities.
梁叶，哦，梁叶！
Kyonghwa and Sir spotted me first and gasped. Then Mansui and Hongar turned around to see me too. When they noticed me, they got all tense and swiftly hid their hands behind their backs. Or were they trying to cook something for me? How sweet. I saw on the cutting board there were pork, garlic, and some chopped cabbage. Are they cooking?
梁叶，你来啦！
I am here, yes, correct. Mansui greeted me with a beaming smile. I glanced at her grin, then eyed the other lambs, puzzled. Why are you all acting sneaky? You sneaking snacks or something? I asked the lambs in a low voice.
不是在偷吃东西。
Then what are you doing?
梁叶，是穗儿姐在教我们做饭。
And who are you cooking for? Why all the sneakiness for cooking? I prodded further, wanting to know more from Kyonghwa.
穗儿姐说，我们要偷偷做饭，等做好了后再端给你吃，吓你一跳。
I guessed correctly. Yay!
若是梁叶早就知道了，或许就不会吓到了。
It's fine, it's fine. There's no need to surprise me. I am happy no matter what you do for me. Kyonghwa lowered her head. Her face slightly red and nervously clutched her clothes, revealing the truth. The other lambs nodded along. It didn't look like a lie. Seems like it's my fault. I barged into their kitchen and disrupted... Into their kitchen? It's not their kitchen. And disrupted the surprise they had prepared.
梁叶，你看，我会切菜。
You are doing great, sir. Sir called out to me. I leaned over to see her chopping. She gripped the knife in one hand and pressed down with the other, putting all her weight into it to slice the cabbage. With some effort, she managed to cut off a piece of cabbage and then looked at me with pride as if wanting for praise. Waiting for praise. That's not how you cut things, little girl. I'm sorry, a knife should be sharp enough that you don't need to use your entire weight to cut it. Oh, sorry. But then again, yes, that would probably not be the knife you should be using. Her chopping technique might be a bit awkward, but at least she got the job done. Not bad, but when you're stronger and your aim is steadier, you can try using a straight chop. I calmly told her as I took the knife from her hand. I held the cabbage in one hand while gripping the knife handle in the other. Snap, snap, snap. Then I swiftly made 3 cuts, slicing the cabbage evenly. Yeah, I guess he has a lot more experience cooking throughout his life, so yes, it should be quicker. You know, it reminds me of a series I watched, a Japanese drama. And the protagonist was supposed to be pretty much the live-in husband, having had cooked every meal since forever ago, I don't know, 6 years or whatever, that they've lived together. And when they showed him preparing the food, I was just shocked that they didn't have the actor train a bit more how to handle a knife, how to chop stuff, because it looked atrocious. It looked like it was the first time he ever held a knife in his hands and had to prepare something. But okay, no master of a craft has ever fallen from the sky, as we say in German. Kein Meister ist vom Himmel gefallen. That's way quicker. No, you don't.
崔，你还不能撕，梁爷都说了，你力气大了再撕，不然容易切到手。
Correct. Until you're stronger, which does not really play a part in cooking when it comes to cutting cabbage. But yes, get stronger first.
姐姐真讨厌，又不让我撕。
But you already tried. Kyonghwa praised my knife skills while the 2 sisters argued again about cutting vegetables. What are you cooking up there? I asked the lambs curiously while eyeing the vegetables on the cutting board. There was a big cabbage, some wild greens, a bulb of garlic, and what looked like not enough. 2 eggs and a small piece of pork. Yeah, didn't we already go over the ingredients like 10 sentences ago? Yeah, so pork, garlic, and some chopped cabbage. Whatever. What's the plan for this
我
dish?
们简单做3个菜：野菜蛋花汤、蒜炒肉丝，再随便烧个白菜。
Okay, easy enough. Huh? You're the one teaching them?
对啊，以前跟娘学过。
Your mom actually taught you anything? Wow, should I actually praise the mom for once? Mansui proudly smiled at me with a hint of smugness in her eyes. This lass knows quite a lot of things. All right, you girls go ahead and cook. I won't be in the way. Yeah, I'll come back to taste it when you're done.
那是自然，本来就是想做给梁叶吃的。
Thank you for thinking of me, I guess.
梁叶一定要多吃点。
I will. Mansui nodded and Sir seemed excited too. They're pretty fired up. I wonder how it'll turn out. Watching them from afar, my gaze softened, a slight smile playing at the corners of my lips. If at this moment I had a bronze mirror in front of me, I probably wouldn't recognize myself, would I? Oh, he's such a proud dad. The sun went down. I sat at the wooden table in the lobby of the inn. The lambs brought out the cooked food. Steam rose from the dishes, filling the inn with a delicious smell. I was pretty hungry, but I didn't rush to eat to keep up a grown-up image.
来，梁爷，赶紧尝一下。
They look delicious. Thank you. After all the dishes were served, Hunger urged me on. She seemed quite eager. Got it. When people finish cooking, they're always the most eager for others to eat. I remember when I was a kid, my dad, while still around, used to be the first to tell me to eat once he cooked, threatening to spank me if I didn't eat while it was still hot.
来，梁爷吃。
I will, don't rush me. Sir handed me a pair of chopsticks, eager for me to taste her cooking. All right. I nodded and used the chopsticks to pick up a piece of the garlic stir-fried pork. Click. I took a bite and chewed slowly. I savored the flavor of the meat. Good. It was cooked just right, tender and juicy, although a bit lacking in seasoning. But I couldn't blame them. The kitchen probably didn't have many spices on
梁
hand.
爷，咋样？
Hunger eagerly asked. It's good. Pretty tasty. I said simply. Hunger and Sir looked happy hearing that.
梁爷，再尝尝野菜汤。
So everybody has worked on a different dish, I see. Kyunghwa offered as I finished the meat. She handed me a wooden spoon. Seems like she had a big part in this dish. I remember seeing her washing the wild veggies earlier. I took a spoonful of soup and tasted it. Strong veggie taste.
不好喝吗？
No, it's good. Kyunghwa seemed disappointed. It's actually pretty good. I didn't want Kyunghwa to feel too bad, so I said the soup was okay, even though I didn't really like it. It's not her fault, though. Wild greens just aren't my thing. Maybe they needed something else to balance it out, like a bit of cooking wine. Anyway, after the soup, I checked out the third dish.
梁爷，尝尝看。
I will. Mansui smiled at me expectantly. Looks like she made this dish. I picked up the chopsticks and grabbed a piece of stir-fried cabbage. I thought it was steamed. Okay. Mansui smiled as she watched me eat. This lass, she isn't spiking my food, right? Seeing her sneaky grin, I got this weird idea. She wouldn't. Sure, I scolded her and spanked her, but poison? Doubt it. Plus, the other lambs will eat this later. Even if she wanted to poison me, she wouldn't harm those lambs who call her Sisui. Would she? Thinking that, I felt a bit better. I grabbed my chopsticks and dug into the cabbage. Oh, it's cooked real nice. The cabbage feels just right, not too crunchy, not too soft, and she poured some pork broth on top and sprinkled chopped garlic, giving it some extra flavor. Got to say, this lass knows how to cook.
梁爷，好吃吧？
You did well. Mansui leaned on the table and looked at me. Okay, about as good as the other two dishes, maybe. A little tastier. I spoke carefully, not wanting to make the little brat too proud.
水姐姐做的白菜是我切的。
You did well, sir. Sir raised her hand. Yeah, I saw you chopping it earlier. I smiled at Sir and she grinned back, showing her teeth. Join in. Don't watch me eat. I prompted the lambs to join in. After I said that, they obediently picked up the chopsticks and started eating.
梁爷，我给你打饭吧。
Right, I was wondering, would they normally serve rice with everything? No need. I got it.
哦，好。翠儿，你吃这个，多吃点肉。
姐姐不用给我夹，我会自己夹。
你还在生我不让你切菜的气啊？
But I thought she did chop vegetables. in the end. Oh well.
莫生气。
Okay. Not angry, no, no. Just the
虽
normal
然姐
sisterly
做菜
spat.
真好呀，我也想做得更好些。
Girl, it's probably been your first time cooking. Don't expect too much. And apparently, for your first time, it was really good.
可以慢慢学的，什么事都不是一朝一夕就能做好的。良爷，再尝尝吧，汤里面的蛋花也很好吃的。
Forcing him to eat something he doesn't really like is not going to change his mind, but sure. Alright, I'll give it another try. I took another spoonful of the vegetable soup. I got some egg drop in it too. Definitely tastier with the egg drop added. As I ate, I watched the lambs before me. They didn't say anything to express their gratitude, but through the meal I could feel their closeness. I don't know if it was Mansui's idea or a group decision. They probably felt my kindness on the journey, providing food, drink, and safety, so they wanted to show their gratitude with this meal. What kind of person am I to them? I figure at the start me and Tang were pretty much the same. Both of us were human traffickers, with Tang being a bit harsher and a bit quieter. But as we travelled and experienced more things together, they began to see the differences between us. They weren't as scared of me anymore, especially after that bathhouse incident in Wengshan. These lambs even started bossing me around to do things. Later, I offed Tang for them, joined their shadow plays, and got closer. Started feeling less like a human trafficker and more like an older friend. Friend. I don't think there's a wolf in the world who can be friends with sheep. So, if I took them as my friends, can I still call them lambs? I thought you actually started calling them girls. Yeah, you switched back to lambs a couple times already, but pretty sure you already thought about the fact that you called them girls and not lambs. Maybe it's time I see them as kids. Kids. In that case, as their grown friend, I can't just send these kids off to be child brides. If that happened, the sisters will be split up, maybe never to see each other again. If that happens, Kyunghwa will never see her parents again, and she'll have regrets for the rest of her life. And Mansui, that lass, I can't quite figure out. I don't know how she'd take it, but I know that isn't what she wants either. I guess that's it then. I really can't do it. I see them as important kids. I'm not cut out to be a wolf. Not a lone wolf. Sir, Honger. I called out their names softly.
良爷，杀死！
Are you gonna tell them about the opportunity to stay here?
良爷，
Sir and Honger looked at me curiously. How did the waiter treat you earlier?
小儿挺好的，带俺们去了厨房。
他本来要跟我们做饭，问我们想吃啥。若不是穗儿姐说我们自己做，他就跟我们做饭吃了。
Now that I think about it, yeah, they were in that kitchen for... Okay, not that long. Actually, no, that conversation wasn't a long conversation, so... Oh, yeah. It makes sense that they just started cooking. It felt so much longer, I don't know. No, actually, now that I think about it, they did show him leaving the inn and thinking about it, only coming back because he was hungry, and the light of day switched from day to evening, so a couple of hours actually went by between him talking to the inn owner and then him finally going into the kitchen. So they should have been almost done cooking by that time, but hey, what do I know? The innkeeper, how was she?
挺好的，我头一回见到这么漂亮的姐姐。
感觉是好姐姐。
One more thing. If you could choose, would you rather go somewhere nice or back home? I asked the critical, final question.
我想回家，想跟爹娘弟弟在一起。
Sir spoke up first, her eyes shining.
翠儿，
Hunger interrupted his sister.
梁爷，我们想去一个好地方，还是不回家了。
You don't have to make a brave face. Tell the truth.
爹娘和我说过，家里闹了荒，没有饭吃了。
Yeah, that's the difference between a couple of years. One knows, the other doesn't. So yeah, both want to go back home, but one knows that they wouldn't be welcome there, no matter how much they are loved. And the other just wants to be reunited with their parents.
我们如果再回家里，会把一家人都连累死。只要我们嫁个好人家，过上好生活，才能活下来，才能以后帮到家里。
Help your family later. Yeah, let's hope that actually works out. Hunger spoke each word carefully, as if remembering her parents' words. I stayed quiet. Hunger was wise beyond her years. She knew their family sent them away because they couldn't afford to feed them. It was practically selling them off. Even if they returned, they'd likely be sold again. Sir didn't grasp this, and Hunger couldn't explain it to her. It's better not to understand some things. But I hope they won't bother coming back to help that family which sold them. That kind of family. What's there to help? Alright, I get your point. Let me ask you one more thing. I said, seriously, having made up my mind. I lowered my head and raised it to meet their eyes. Sir, Hunger, I've thought about it. I've found you a good place. If you stay with the innkeeper here, living with that sister for a while, would you be okay with that? I questioned the two, their eyes widening with a sudden unease.
梁爷，你是要把我们丢在这里吗？
Oh no, poor babies.
我要和梁爷一起。
After a brief pause, Hunger's voice quivered as she asked, and tears welled up in Sura's eyes. She had nearly cried when she thought about going home earlier. Now, hearing that I am going to leave her behind, she wanted to cry even more. No tears, okay? Let me explain. I'm not trying to leave you guys behind, it's just that I was going to drop you off here. I took a job from Isan to send you all as child brides. But I thought about it, and sending you as child brides would separate you two. Better for you to stay together here at the inn. After my words, Hunger and Sura grew quieter. They stared at me, seemingly lost in thought. After a moment, Hunger spoke up again.
那梁爷之后要走吗？
Basically, Hunger raised her eyes, her voice still tinged with tears. Yes, I will have to leave you eventually. I let out a sigh. Got my own stuff to handle, got some old enemies to dodge. Once I sort you two out, I'm heading south to lay low for a while. I was a bit surprised myself. Surprised myself by being so upfront with the sisters. But you know, I remember the Sin's location. Maybe one day I'll come back to see you here. When fate allows, people will meet again sooner or later. I told Sir as I gently patted her head. I found myself wearing a forced, gentle smile, a rare sight indeed. The smile felt stiff even to me, yet I somehow managed to make it. I didn't want these girls to cry again.
行，那我和崔儿都明白了。
Oh, poor babies.
我愿意留在这客栈那里。2夜以后一定要回来看我们。
I will visit you, I promise.
我也愿意留，不想跟姐姐分开。
Good.
2夜，还有穗姐姐、花姐姐，以后一定要来看俺们。
We will. Honger and Sir said to us. Mansui and Kyonghwa smiled, seeing them like that. Kyonghwa, after confirming Honger and Sir's intentions, I turned to Kwonghwa.
2夜，
Kyonghwa looked at me, put down the chopsticks and fidgeted in her seats. She just heard what I said to the sisters, so likely guessed what I was going to say. I know where you come from. Forget what Isan told you. You'll stay here for a while. I'll talk to the innkeeper and try to find your family. If I find them, they can come get you. Now, do you still want to see them? Tears welled up in Kyonghwa's eyes. She bit her lip, her jaw shaking and her eyelashes trembling. Of course you do. Shortly after, she uttered a word with a tearful voice. This warm word made her answer clear to me. All right, I'll do it. I said firmly, meeting her gaze. If she wants to see her family, I'll make it happen.
考虑清楚了？
I did. Okay. After an hour, we finished eating. I met with Kite again, chatting in the lobby. I've thought it over. Going to do the right thing. Those 2 sisters will stay here. I'll sell them to you for 10 taels and trouble you to take care of them in the future. For Kyonghwa, I'll find a family. Any ideas?
你知道他的出身吗？
I do kinda, yes. Checked. Her father was an official in the capital but got sent to the border for cozying up too much to the Inspector General Yun. Hang tight. I'll pry into her parents' status and report back.
知道他父母的身份后，可以让他先暂留此地。我找人打听他父母的去向，再帮他们联络。
Thank you. So, should I give you money for finding out and sending letters?
不用了，到时候我跟他父母去要便好。无论是寄信的钱，还是送他回去的路费，都让他父母出吧。
Good. Probably gonna be overcharging, aren't you? But that's fine. They should still have some money. But her parents got exiled to the border. They got money?
按理说，只要不是被发配充军，这点钱都是有的。放心吧，真没有，会不会太为难他们？
Thank you, Kite.
只要他们还惦记着这个女儿，我就愿意送。
So nice. Okay. After hearing Kite's plan for Kyonghwa, I felt
不
better.
过，最后那个孩子呢？
Well, we have a different plan. Kite looked at me, asking about Mansui. Oh, she meant her. I guess Mansui made quite an impression on her too. That lass wants to go to Luoyang. Has her own plans. I don't fully agree, but I'll tack along to Luoyang and chat with her on the way. Heard she's lost all her close kin. I'll try finding some distant relatives around Luoyang. If not, we'll figure something out then. I remarked casually. When it comes to Mansui, that lass, I'm confident. I'm also cautious. On one hand, I trust her smarts. She could find her way out of any mess. But on the other hand, I can't shake the feeling she's hiding something from me, especially with her insistence on going to Luoyang. I need to sit down and have a chat with her, clear the
行
air.，
我这边正好养不下那么多娃子，你带她走也好。
Thank you for letting me have her.
明日我可以帮你们勾兑下驿站的关系，让你们搭一辆货运的马车，这样也好让你们早日到洛阳。
Oh, we actually get a wagon. I am so thankful. Taking a cargo wagon saves walking. Awesome. Thanks. I nodded to Kite, but then I paused, realizing there was something else I needed to ask her. Kite, got one more thing to ask.
什么事？
Know how to get into Haizhou?
知道的。
Oh, you do? Great.
泰州城虽说是封了，但在每日鸡鸣之时，还是会开一次东南门，用于通商。
For trade. Oh.
明早你起得来的话，我可以让店小二带你去，不过只能你一个人去哦。
Sure thing. No problem. Was planning on going alone
你
anyway.
要进城做什么？
Yeah, I'm wondering that as well. Kite blinked, puzzled by my sudden trip into the city tomorrow. Just going to the market to buy stuff. Need supplies for the journey, selling the pack horses for money. And since we are parting soon, I'll get them gifts. I awkwardly told Kite. Yeah, I know. He's a proud dad, don't judge him. Kite chuckled softly when she heard me say that. What's amusing? I frowned, wondering why she was laughing.
没什么，只是觉得都那么多年了，你还是没变呀。
Still me?
你还是你，
Just Liang?
你不是狼，是良。
True, true. Kite smirked and spoke vaguely. Her eyes showed a mix of pity, mockery, and tenderness. Kite's words were nonsense. Calling me a good person who lived up to my name was laughable. I've taken out plenty of people, and even if I stopped, the debts I owe will never be repaid in a lifetime. I am no saint. I'm just a fool who wanted to be a wolf but ended up a half-baked one. That's all. Gift. At dawn, I went out early with the waiter. We went to the city through the southeast gate of Haizhou, heading to the morning market to buy stuff. We only had about 2 hours to shop, as being late meant we'd be stuck inside the city. We hurried along, hardly talking. Along the way, I counted the days since I met these girls. It had been about 20 days, if my math was right. Looking back, I realized how much those 20 days had changed me. The old me would have been shocked to see all I've done for these girls now.
哎，这位老爷，要点什么？
Good question. I'm looking to buy gifts for four girls ranging from 12 to 6 years old. What do you think would be suitable?
哟，您可问对人了。我家里也有女娃，最懂小娃子们想要啥。
You do? Great. Greet them for me. So, what do you like?
实
What
诚的
do
小
they
娃子
like?
都喜欢风车、拨浪鼓或是陶响球，给他们一个，他们能玩好久。
All right.
若是再大了些，到了经差之年呢，女娃便爱美喽，就得送她们衣装或饰品。
Clothes or accessories are probably a bit too expensive, but I guess give it a try.
咦，您看起来年纪也不大吧？家里怎么有4个女娃子呀？
Well, it's a long story. I'm not married. They're not mine, just kids I'm looking after for friends. Enough chat. Show me what you've got.
好嘞。
I got gifts for the girls. Later, I grabbed breakfast at a bun shop and got a basket of buns to go. After packing up everything, I met with the waiter and we headed back to the inn together. Bang, bang, bang. Get up, all of you. Downstairs to the lobby. After returning to the inn, I went to the girls' doors, knocked 3 times and told them to come downstairs. They straightened their clothes, rubbed their sleepy eyes and slowly gathered in the lobby.
梁爷，你这么早就叫我们起来啊？
It's not early anymore. The rooster crowed 2 hours ago. Come, got your girls a basket of buns. I laid the bundle containing the buns on the table and opened it up. 8 buns were laid out, catching the girls' eyes right away.
又是馒头呀！
Yes, more buns. Let's go.
梁爷真好，
I know that I'm kind. You don't have to tell me.
扔馒头，扔馒头！
The 3 girls gathered excitedly, their eyes sparkling as if about to drool at the sight of the buns. What are you waiting for? Dig in, but only 2. Take 2 each, no more. I chuckled and the kids eagerly reached out to grab their buns.
梁爷不给自己留吗？
I already ate, probably, maybe. Mansui asked, puzzled, holding one. Nope, already had mine. Finish up, then I'll show you what I got for you girls. I casually remarked as they chewed on the buns. Yes, gifts. Sir asked me with a mouthful of bun, her words somewhat muffled. Yeah, I bought gifts for you in another package.
我想看，
Oh, to see, sure.
我也要看。
Sure, I'll show you. The 2 sisters came to the package containing the gifts, holding the buns. Wait, finish eating before checking out the gifts. Don't forget to wash your hands or you'll dirty them. I cautioned the eager girls seriously. They obediently tucked their hands back. What's the rush? They probably never really got any gifts, so let them be happy about it. After half an incense stick's time, the lambs finished their buns. I thought you were choosing to call them kids now. They wiped their oily mouths, washed their hands, and gathered around the wooden table, eagerly waiting for me to unwrap the package. I opened the package, revealing its contents to them. A red tambourine, a green clay rattle, and a purple windwheel toy. Here, these are all for you. I pointed to the gifts in the package, speaking slowly. Sarah gasped, leaning in to get a better look at the gifts. The other lambs were glued to the sight as well. I aimed to hand out the gifts individually and show them how to play with each one. Hunger, here's your tambourine.
这要咋玩？
Watch, hold it like this and spin it back and forth to make noises.
谢谢梁爷。
Sure thing. After showing her how to use the tambourine, I gave it to her. She seemed pretty happy with it. Sir, here's your clay rattle.
好像球，这要咋玩？
Just shake it near your ear or roll it on the ground. You'll hear something special.
我听听。是啥子的声音？
翠儿，快说谢谢梁爷。
谢谢梁爷。
Good thing. You're very welcome, little girl. I gave the clay rattle to Sir. She took it carefully, like she was holding a treasure. Quickly, she took it by her ear, enjoying the sound of the sand inside. Kyonghwa.
在。
Don't get too excited. Here, have this windmill. I gave the windmill to Kyonghwa. I wasn't sure if this little thing would be too shabby, but I couldn't think of anything else suitable, so I picked this for you.
没事的，我很喜欢的。
Yeah, that doesn't sound correct. Just blow on it and the windmill will start spinning.
好呀，我试试看。梁爷，它真的吹起来了！ 好看。
You know, I would have given her the tambourine and the clay rattle maybe to Honger, and the windmill definitely more so to Sir, since, let's face it, with 12 she's way too old for a windmill, but okay, whatever. Kyunghwa showed me the wind wheel, really excited. Well, if she's happy with it, that's good. Honestly, I was worried she might not like it, given her background, but thankfully, kids usually like anything you give them.
良夜，没给我买礼物吗？
Yeah, I would love to give you a different outfit. Let's face it, you look shabby. After unpacking everything from the package, Mansui spoke up suddenly. She poked my arm, frowning slightly, seeming mostly confused but a bit annoyed. Nope, didn't buy you anything. Her face now showed equal parts of confusion and irritation. Since you weren't well behaved, I didn't buy you one. Oh, she's mostly annoyed.
不买就不买。
No, poor baby. She muttered in frustration, then turned away from me. You fell for it? She seemed mad. Ah, had my fun. Time to drop the act. Okay, no more teasing. Actually, I got you a gift too, but I didn't give it to you because because we still have some traveling ahead.
哦，原来是这样。那良夜为何刚才要骗我呀？
Why should I tell you the truth? Because you've tricked me before, so I wanted to get back at you and see how you'd react.
良夜这么大岁数，还和我一般见识，真是孩子气。
So what? Let him be childish? Maybe so, but I had to get even with you or I wouldn't feel right. Mansui loved and teased me and I didn't respond
那
kindly.
是什么礼物？什么时候给我看呀？
I'll open it up for you later on the carriage ride. Kite. After giving the gifts to the lambs, I called out Kite.
怎
Okay.
么，要走了吗？
Kite lifted the curtain from the back kitchen and strolled over. Yeah, gifts are done. Get to pack up with the lass. Leaving soon.
这么急，你不多休息些时日？
What break? We stayed over the night. We already had breakfast. What else do you want me to do? Got no choice. Delay too long, employers might catch on. Taking this last to Luoyang first, then escaping south.
还是要去洛阳呀？
Yes.
一定要去的。
Mansui chimed in eagerly. It wasn't until then that I remembered. Stayed up too late last night and had to rise early. I still hadn't talked to the lass about what she planned to do in Luoyang. I wanted to persuade her to give up on revenge, to let go of that swine demon. But I never got around to it. Well, we'll be passing through Luoyang anyway on our way south. I can talk to her on the road. No rush.
行，早上我已经叫老牛跑了一趟，给驿站打过招呼了。你到时候报我名字去乘车就好。
Okay, will do. Thank you.
良，我怎么觉得你每次见我，都像是在逃命？
Because he is? Kite chuckled, teasing me. I had to admit she had a point. Every time I met her, it did feel like I was either escaping or on the run. I'm here. As I spaced out, I heard Suer's voice.
你要做脸吗？
That I am. Suer held the clay rattle I gave her, looking at me with a puzzled expression. Yeah, I'm leaving with Sisui soon. Upon hearing that we were leaving soon, the three girls seemed a bit panicked.
不想让你走。
Suer rushed over, clutching onto my leg tightly. Tears streamed down her face. Hey, stop that, okay? You cried last night and now you're crying today. I told you, didn't I? I've got to go. From now on, you and Honger will live with Siskite. You've got to work hard. Siskite will take care of your food and shelter, but you need to learn some skills too. As for Kyonghwa, she'll stay with Kite for now. Kite will help her get in touch with her family until someone comes to pick her up.
可是我还是不想梁爷走，不想随姐姐走。
Understandable, but we have to part, sir. I'm so sorry. Stop it.
不要，不要！
Sir still held onto my leg, crying and fuzzing. Tears and snot smeared on my leg.
村儿，宝闹了！
Hunger shouted and Sir lifted her tear-streaked face from my leg, looking at her sister with watery eyes.
昨晚都是好的，回去俺跟你说了，梁爷和孙儿姐会走。
It's okay. She can be sad. It's absolutely fine. It's understandable.
孙儿姐昨天晚上也抱着你睡了，梁爷也送你礼物了，该做的事都做了，已经好好告别了。你现在又在闹啥嘛你？
Hunger scolded Sir. Come on, she was abandoned by their family, by your family, just a couple days ago, basically. 20 days ago that we met there. Let's say they were sold a month ago or so. At most. So, she already went through a very dramatic parting with her family, knowing, maybe finally realizing what being sold off actually entails. And now, after she got used to another person, two other people actually, she will be left behind again. She will have such abandonment issues growing up. I feel for her. However, her eyes had also reddened. Perhaps kids are just wired that way. Even though we talked about leaving last night and she seemed okay with it, she's acting up again today. The younger they are, the harder goodbyes seem to be for them.
好了好了，翠儿，听渊姐姐说几句吧。你们梁爷呢，有要事要办，这次只是暂时要走。
For a while, a long while.
但是他这个人呢，早晚会回来的。我这是第3次见你们梁爷了，他总是会在我无法预料到的时候重新找来。
True. You wouldn't be alive if he didn't circle back, you know, so no complaining. What? Everything fine, Jackson? Go in there. Oh my god.
之后呢，你们跟我学手艺，给我干活儿，我也会对你们好的。
Good. You better treat them right. I'll check up on
梁爷
that.
对你们有多好，我保证对你们加一倍好。
I want to see that. Guide reached out and gave Sir's head a gentle pat. Sir let go of my hand and stared at Kite blankly.
之后，梁爷和随姐姐真的会回来吗？
Yes, hopefully.
会的。
Kite assured Sir.
会的。
Mansui also promised Sir. Her eyes looked very sincere, not like she was lying. But I knew this lass could easily pretend to be sincere to trick people. Anyway, after that, Sir stopped causing trouble. Before Mansui and I left, she hugged the lambs one after another, whispering into each of their ears. I didn't catch what was said. Then we said goodbye to the lambs, crossing the inn's threshold, and were about to leave. Yes. Before leaving the inn, I heard Yonghua call out to me. Yeah? I turned back. I waited for her to speak, but tears welled up in her eyes and she didn't say anything else. As I was about to leave, it hit me that Kyonghwa might be even sadder than Hong'er and Su'er. I would be going 1,000 miles south, and once her parents came for her, they would head north 1,000 miles too. This meant that even if I returned someday, while Hong'er and Su'er might still be around, Kyonghwa probably wouldn't. It's a farewell, a final goodbye. People always experience their last moments with others unexpectedly. Even in times of peace, but especially in times of chaos, it's just the way it goes. And that's the case with her and me. Bye. Wow. Good job, Young. I mumbled, my voice a bit distant. Then, turning away, I walked forward alongside Mansui. Whoosh, whoosh. A breeze swept by, tussling my hair and ruffling my clothes. Pulled down my bamboo hat to keep my hair in check. I could hear the little wind wheel spinning behind me. It was accompanied by the tambourine's beats and the soft rustle of the clay rattle. Their cries, though muted, were unmistakable. Amidst the sound I could hear the faint sobs of the girls. All the sounds melded together. Adjusting my bamboo hat, I marched forward. The noises faded into the distance until they vanished. Goodbye. Even though it might be our last, we still said goodbye.
梁爷，你就这么把他们留客栈了呀？
Obviously I am. We walked along the dirt road, and Mansui suddenly turned to ask me. Yep, I've sorted things out with Kite. She'll look after them. Fine. Hong'er and Su'er will be with her from now on, and as for Kyonghwa, Kite will help her get back to her family.
梁爷还挺信任袁姐姐的，难道你们是老相好？
Or something. Don't talk nonsense. She got married 2 years ago. It has nothing to do with me. I trust her because we have some old debts between us. I once saved her life and she helped me sell stolen goods and evade pursuit by the authorities. Mansui nodded. She probably figured out Kite's background. What about you? Do you distrust Kate?
信任啊，以前有个姐姐对我很好，她就有点像袁姐姐。
I wanna know what sister she's talking about. We haven't seen any sister in her memory, so yeah, it makes me wonder. Huh? She had a sister before. Was she her real sister? I detected something suspicious in her words, but I didn't plan to delve into such minor matters.
梁爷为何唯独没把我留客栈？
We had been walking towards the station for a while when she suddenly asked me. Kite can't take care of too many lambs. Besides, didn't you mention wanting to seek revenge in Luoyang before? I replied, lowering my voice. She seemed a bit lost when I asked, as if needing a moment to gather her thoughts. Eventually, in a raspy voice, she responded.
对，我还是要去洛阳的，我一定要去复仇。
Okay.
梁爷还是可以把我卖给屯妖，尹三应该在洛阳城里有线人。
No.
你可以说在路上遇到几只大虫，其他孩子和星爷都被吃了，只赶着救出了我。我再帮你一起撒谎作证，他们大概就不追究梁爷的责任了，兴许还能多给你一笔钱。
How about no? She calmly outlined her plan to sell herself to the swine demon. She talked about it as if it wasn't her own fate she was deciding. I thought about what she said. It made sense. It didn't cost much for Isan to get a lamp, but the swine demon would pay a lot more. If I give them a lamp, Isan gets his money back. And if the swine demon really needs a lamp, they'll take it, even just one. If I give Mansui to them and blame the missing stuff on tigers, I can still finish the deal like usual, then profit aside. I won't be blamed as much for messing up. Looking at it like that, it's not a bad plan. No, not good. I thought about it some more, and there's a fatal flaw in this plan. What if Mansui's revenge ends up dragging me into it? If I send her over there and she goes through with the assassination, whether she succeeds or not, she's committing a heinous crime. Once she commits that crime, it's on me too, and I'll be implicated in her actions. Plus, didn't I already make up my mind? I won't send any lamb to the swine demon after all, especially considering what they'll be facing. It's just too despicable. Even for this lass who tried to kill me and lied to me before, I can't bring myself to do it. I still say no to your revenge plan. I'll take you to Loyang because I know lots of people there and it's easier to sneak south from there. Once we're in Loyang, I won't contact anyone linked to Isan to sell you off. I'll think of another plan for you. I told Mansui seriously.
好，那总之我们还是先去洛阳吧，大不了我也不复仇了，只是去那里玩一趟。
Okay. Mansui said with a smile. I wasn't sure if she truly meant it or was just trying to ease the tension. How could she treat something so serious so lightly? After half mile's walk, we arrived at the station Kite mentioned. These stations were usually for official use only, so common people like us couldn't use the transportation. But lately, with the new government rules, many of these stations had been downsized and things were a bit chaotic. The station staff couldn't make ends meet with just government funds, so they started taking private jobs on the side. Kite pulled some strings and paid a bit so we could hitch a ride on one of the delivery wagons heading towards Loyang.
你们就是老板娘介绍的人？
Yes, correct. We are the ones the innkeeper mentioned. Yeah.
就你们俩，去哪儿？
Loyang. Just us two heading to Loyang.
上那边的马车吧。
Alright, thank
注
you.
意一会儿上了车，不要乱动里面的东西。
Don't plant.
这些都是王府要的盐袋儿，你们下车前我都会查一遍。
Well, I'll take a few handful, right? That's fine. That has to be fine, right? Got it. We'll behave and stay out of trouble. I told the wagon driver, then climbed onto the wagon with Mansui. I hopped on first, then reached out and helped her up onto the wagon. The wagon was packed with salt sacks, likely from the nearby salt pits by Haiso. Mansui and I nestled among the sacks. She took one end and I settled on the other, at the other, facing each other. Space inside the wagon was tight, but it seemed like she had a bit more room to sit than I did. Hey, let's switch spots. I motioned to Mansui and she nodded, swapping spots with me. We're stuck in this wagon for 2 days, so I'm not gonna be polite with her. Besides, she's smaller and better suited for the slightly narrower spot. Yeah, this wagon's dark as heck. Feels like a jail ride. But hey, it's just a cargo hauler. Got one tiny window for air. Got to endure this 2-day trip to Loyang. These recent days have really been rough. Might as well catch some sleep.
良夜，
Yes. As I sighed and looked at the tiny window, Mansui called my name. What's the matter? I raised an eyebrow looking at her.
刚才车夫说的王爷，大概就是豚妖吧？
Probably. She whispered to me quietly. Yeah, if it's the Lord Tin Luyang, then he's indeed the swine demon you're after. Ah, you knew the swine demon was the Lord all along?
对啊，早就知道了。
Great. I'm baffled. How did this lass find out? Was it from Isan all along, or did she eavesdrop on my talk with tongue? I just can't seem to puzzle it out.
梁爷，我们如果在盐袋里下毒，是不是能毒死豚妖？
We could kill the swine demon that way, but we would also doom a couple more people with that. And I don't think we have the poison that would be able to poison entire sacks of salt. All things considered, we could maybe clump it together, so you know, how to call it, that they would use more salt, but that's probably not gonna work. Just as I was wondering how she knew the swine demon was the Lord, she spoke up again. Nope, can't do that. There are too many palace servants. Poisoning the salt might harm innocent people. Plus, if the swine demon survives, they'll trace it back to the driver and us, putting Kite and the other lambs at risk too.
说的也是。
Matsui nodded, seemingly abandoning the idea of poisoning the saltbags.
那我们能不能藏在马车里，到时候杀出来，去杀了那豚妖？
Nope. I'm not sure if this wagon is headed straight to their palace, but if it is, even if it is, we can't just go ahead with this plan. What if we charge out the swine demon ain't there? We'd be in a fix. If we step out with blades, their guards will catch us in no time, and remember, killing the swine demon is your thing, not mine.
啊，这样吗？梁爷不是想做侠客吗？诛杀豚妖，青史留名。
Right, as if he would be willing to do that. I've long abandoned the hero's path. I'm not willing to risk my life for a dream I've forsaken. I doused Mansui's enthusiasm, and she's still too naive. Even if I were to slay the swine demon, how could I make history? The chronicles are filled with his royal kin, and they're the ones who write the history books. Killing him would merely make me another outlaw in the annals. Me and Mansui sat in the wagon. After about a stick of incense's time, the wagon finally started moving. Luckily, it was pretty good at muffling sound, so our early talk probably went unheard by the driver. Pretty good at mumbling sound? Sure, yeah, with all these open spaces. Definitely believable. Then suddenly, he shouted, "Moving! Hold on!" and he gave the reins a tuck, setting the 4 horses, putting the wagon into motion. The clattering hoofs and creaking wheels etched long trails in the dirt path. Not that we can see that. The wagon sped along, jolting us inside like bouncing bunnies, our backsides taking a pounding. 2 days of this, and I'll need a cushion. Aren't you sitting on a salt bag? Sure, probably not the most comfortable thing, but you know, guess I'm more of a walker than a wagon rider. Sure. If it weren't for time constraints, I'd rather hoof it. Definitely walking next time.
梁叶，你之前去过洛阳吗？
Probably yes, but no. Just as I was mulling over the rough ride ahead, Mansui piped up. Fair enough. Guess I could chat with her, kill some time. Went to Luoyang twice before, just stopping by on business.
梁叶觉得洛阳和其他城市相比，有何不同？
Wider streets, bigger houses, richer people. Oh, but not everyone's rich. Rich get richer, poor get poorer. Yeah, capitalism. Gotta love it. I explained to Mansui, sharing my impressions of Luoyang. Besides that, lots of old buildings around. They say there are many ancient houses from the Tang and Song dynasties still standing in the city. And you? What do you think of Luoyang? After sharing my thoughts, I asked Mansui. She mentioned she's from around Luoyang, so she probably has some impressions of the city too.
我的记忆不太准了。
Okay.
我家虽然是住洛阳附近，但是离得还是有点远的。我从小到大只进了洛阳城1次。很小的时候，是爹爹带我进洛阳城的。我记得城里有一条河，河的尽头是一个湖。那时，我好像走丢了。 沿着河，一边哭一边走，走到河的尽头，看到一个湖，正好撞见了爹爹。
Okay. A river Luoyang. Oh, you mean the Chun River, right? The Chun River connects the Luo River. Runs through the whole city. There can't be a lake, right?
那大概是我记错了吧？唉，可惜了呀。
What's wrong?
可惜翠儿妹妹她们从来没去过洛阳，我还想带她们看看来着。
Oops. Sure thing.
现在走着走着，就只剩我和梁爷2个人了。
Just you and me, Mansui. Correct. Let's go. This lass had quite the imagination. 1 minute we were talking about Luoyang, and the next she was lost in her own little world. Head slightly bowed. Let me ask you something. Right before we left, what did you tell them? I frowned and asked her.
没说什么特别的，我就是跟他们说，今后还会来看他们。
Right, and I should believe that is the only thing you told them. Is that the same thing to everyone?
都差不多，毕竟我没法给他们准备礼物，至少要跟他们说些送别的话。
All right.
说起来，梁爷是不是忘了给我的礼物？
I did not. Mansui suddenly got excited. She looked at me with hopeful eyes. Oh, I remembered now. This morning when I entered Haizor, I got her a gift too. I haven't given it to her yet. All right, I'll show you the gift now. I agreed and began reaching into the package behind me. After a few gropes, I easily found it. The gift was wrapped in a small package. I took it out and unwrapped it to show Mansi. It was a pair of shoes.
这是鞋？
Yes. Mansu looked at the pair of shoes in the package, a bit surprised. Inside the package was a pair of shoes. Yeah, didn't... God damn it, game. Stop repeating yourself. The shoes were light blue with pointed tips and bright silver peonies stitched on both sides, looking delicate and small, like two little birds with folded wings. Mansui glanced at the shoes, then at me.
良爷，为什么要给我买鞋？
Well, a whole outfit would have been better, not gonna lie. After all the walking, I noticed your shoes were almost falling apart, with your toes poking out. Worried about you having trouble walking later, so I got you a new pair of shoes. You don't like them?
喜欢。
Good. Mansu lifted her gaze to meet mine, giving a slight smile. Her smile widened, showing her teeth and revealing two shallow dimples. I was kinda surprised. Never seen her like this before. When she smiled before, it seemed oddly mature. Usually her smile felt kinda grown up. But now, she's just like any other girl her age, smiling brightly.
料子真好，摸起来好软。
Sure. Mansui held the shoes, not wanting to let go. They're expensive as hell. Cost me 400 coins, they did. I
良
replied.
爷，你能帮我换吗？
Dude, if you splurge so much on the shoes, maybe give her an intact outfit as well? She suddenly asked me softly. What? I didn't quite get what she meant right away.
就是帮我脱鞋，再给我换上新的。
Sure thing. Her face turned a bit red as she asked me. You got hands and feet, why do you need me to do it? I asked her in a low voice. This lass, she wants me to change her shoes. Can you believe it? Normally it's servants who change shoes for their masters. I think there's also a story about lovers doing so. Because it's such a vulnerable position you're in. And an intimate gesture and all that. She is just a lamb I'm selling. If I were a human trafficker, she'd be my servant. How could she even ask me to change her
我
shoes?
记得很小的时候，爹爹也送了我一双鞋，
Of course, the dad card again.
当时便是他给我换的。
Okay, I will. She looked down, her eyes shaded by her bangs, like she was remembering something. I paused. Just when I thought she was pushing it, she explained why she wanted me to help her change her shoes. Ah, I see. She mentioned it a few days ago. Her sister and parents are all gone, and she doesn't have any family left in this world. Without family, not many people would bother to give her gifts or take care of her like this. She just wanted to feel cared for again. That's why she asked me to help her change her shoes when I gave them to her. This lass, having her family taken away at such a young age, even earlier than me, without any family left, it's pretty sad. Alright, just this once. Don't expect me to help you next time. I sighed helplessly as I spoke to her. At the same time, I made up my mind to set aside my pride, picked up the shoes and squatted in front of her. We were inside the wagon's cargo space, surrounded by bags of salt. The wagon jolted along, her on one side, me on the other. Neither of us spoke. Though it's just a simple shoe swap, the process felt incredibly long. Matsui adjusted her position first. She leaned her upper body back, arms straight against the wooden planks of the cargo hold, bracing herself. Unlike her tilted upper body, her lower half leaned forward. She crossed her legs but slowly extended her foot, cautiously getting closer to me. The scene resembled a child by the lake tentatively testing the water's depth. "I'm going to change them now," I said softly, breaking the awkward silence. Then I dropped to my left knee, kneeling in front of her. Reaching out, I grasped her left foot with both hands, intending to remove the shoe from that foot first. Her current shoe was indeed very dirty, torn and old, with many places worn through the original fabric. I gently held the ends of the worn-out shoe with my hands and quickly took it off. Her left foot was exposed in an instant. "Can we make this quicker, please?" Her foot, like the rest of her body, was slim and somewhat frail. You could see the bones in the sole and the grooves of her ankles, every line showing her thinness. The only plump part was her 5 round toes. But overall, her feet looked pretty. "Cool, we have a foot fetishist, let's go." Her feet weren't wrapped. I heard fancy families like to tie up their ladies' feet to make them smaller and prettier. I don't get it though. Tying feet like that just makes them look weird, not cute. Correct, it was a barbaric practice. But her feet, growing naturally, looked pretty nice. Could we stop sexualizing her feet? Can we move on?
良夜，
Yes, please, put shoes on that. What?
你怎么盯着我的脚看了那么久啊？看
You
得
should,
我都不好
you should be
意思
worried actually. Run! I just noticed you're really skinny, so I looked a bit longer. I thought you were thick-skinned. Wouldn't feel
那
embarrassed.
肯定会不好意思啊，毕竟男女有别。
Not that much. She went all shy and red. Huh, men and women are different. Funny hearing that from this cheeky little pred. But isn't it odd? Back at the bathhouse I saw everything. She didn't seem bothered then. Now, just because I glance at her feed, she's talking about men and women being different. Despite my thoughts, I kept them to myself. I didn't want to make her feel more uncomfortable. I proceeded with my task, removing her right shoe and slipping on the new one with silver peony embroidery. The shoe slowly enveloped her feet, fitting snugly. Can we get that foot image now with shoes, please? I gently nudged the toe and adjusted the heel to ensure a perfect fit. Ooh, they do be pretty though. Good fit?
挺合适的。
Great. Try standing and moving around. And so I nodded and stood up in the shoes I gave her. The wagon's cargo area was just high enough for her to stand. She tried out the feel of walking inside the wagon, stepping lightly on the wooden floorboard.
哇，很合适，穿着舒服。
I'm glad. After trying them out, she said to me, "That's good to hear. I was worried they might be too small."
不小不小，良夜的这个礼物我很喜欢。
Good. She said with a wide smile and felt relieved. And I felt relieved. Yeah, finally done swapping her shoes. Yeah, that took ages. Funny thing is, even though she likes the new shoes I got her, she won't let go of her old ones. She packed those old shoes away in her bag. Is she just being tight-fisted, thinking she can sell those old shoes? Or were they a gift from her dad? Probably the latter. After putting on the new shoes for Mansui, we stayed quiet for a while. She just sat there, lost her own thoughts. I didn't bother trying to figure out what was on her mind. I took a sip of my water jug and leaned against the tiny window of the cargo hold, watching the scenery outside. The wagon moved forward, leaving the landscape behind in a blur. With each bump of the wagon, the scenery outside fluctuated up and down. Watching the rapidly changing landscape, I began to feel drowsy. In 2 days, we'll get to Luoyang City. What's our move? I reckon I'm not keen on taking her to that swine demon's place no more. But what's next for us? Where are we heading? With a lot on my mind, the sleepiness crept in. My upper and lower eyelids started a tussle, going on for about a dozen rounds. Then I tipped my head back, forward, and finally shut my eyes. Vaguely, I heard Mansui's voice. Dream or not, it felt like she asked me,
凉，之前杀了那么多人，
Welcome, Dawn. Bon appetit. Enjoy your food. No human meat eating yet, so no worries there. She asked, no emotion, voice eerie, indifferent. And half asleep, I gave my answer. Of course I regret. Despair. So chapter 4. I knew it. Hungry. So hungry. Dawn, share some food. I hadn't eaten for 3 days straight. Not even a bowl of thin porridge. I lay on the bed and slept with my body curled up. My stomach kept bothering me last night and I felt nauseous in my throat. I wanted to throw up but could only retch. A few more hours passed and I felt even worse. I felt groggy, like I had a layer of oil over my brain. My entire body felt sluggish. Shawarma! Oh my god. Something really strange was happening to my body. My chest felt like it was burning, but my limbs were cold. Rolling up my sleeves, I touched my bare arms and felt as if there was an invisible garment draped over them. I used my nails to scratch at the clothing on my arms, but nothing came off, only leaving behind white marks. I felt like a snake, a quiet snake on the verge of death. I couldn't shed my skin and I had to endure the torment of alternating hot and cold sensations. I was probably going to die soon.
今天我们喝点稀粥，不然要饿死了。
还能吃几次
？3次。
3 whole times? Great. Is the brother even still alive?
那我们之后吃什么呀？
Nothing.
咱家门口还有一片树林，坡上还长了一些草，可以吃树皮和野草。
Tree bark and wild grass, doesn't that sound delectable? Let's go.
呀，不能吃树皮。
You actually can. It depends on the tree, though. Some you definitely shouldn't eat. Some is somewhat fine.
奶奶以前和我说过，树皮很硬，进了肚子后会拉不出来，得用手去抠。我不想抠。
Being worried about the aftermath, I see.
不用抠，吃树皮是要先弄一下的。
Yeah, well, we'd have to eat it first. Yes,
我会把树皮煮熟了，捣碎了，再喂你和彩儿吃。
Cooking smash. All right,
煮了的
Mom.
树
Thank
皮
you.
能煮出甜味儿，其实还挺好吃的。
If there's nothing else, sure. Silently, I listened to Mom talk. I wasn't sure where Mom learned all of this. Could it be that she also had to go through some hard times when she was little? Since Mom could survive back then, I can too. After talking to me, Mom started to make porridge for us. The rice container was pretty much empty and there wasn't much water left in the water tank. Mom scooped a bowl of water and put it in the pot, then grabbed a handful of rice and sprinkled it evenly. Yeah, I'll open it up for you, Jackson. There you go. Emotional support, Dogo? You wanna leave? I crouched by the pot, watching the rice slowly sink to the bottom, resembling pieces of meat. Okay, she really is hungry if she can see rice as meat. I wanted to eat it so bad. However, it's definitely still going to be a while till I can have some. Mom still had to cook it for a little while. Plus, even after it's ready, she would always let my brother eat first. Lately, my brother hasn't been talking much. Half a month after Dad left, my brother got sick again. He had a really bad fever, even worse than before. Mom was worried and kept feeding my brother porridge. She even peeled off the last of the cabbage and added it to the porridge for him. After having porridge for a few days, my brother's fever finally subsided. But after that, he became a mute and couldn't talk anymore. Oh no! Oh no!
娘，你说爹爹为啥这么久都没回来？
Because he's...
还能有啥？要么是跑了，要么是死了。
Well, glad the mom is being realistic, but oh my god, maybe you should, I don't know, package it more nicely for your daughter? Who actually loves that man? I asked Mom, and she casually answered me as she threw firewood into the stove. I didn't believe that Dad ran away. There was no way that Dad would have left us behind. He promised. He either got lost and couldn't find his way home, or something happened to him.
娘，前2天我去村里看了一趟，村里的其他人都跑走了。
I talked to Mom again. Then when she was making porridge.
穗儿，你又出去了。
What else is she? Well, okay, I'm actually surprised that she has the energy to go into town, all things considered, but okay.
我不是说了不让你乱跑吗？你就不怕被人捉了吃？
Well, I guess that town also went that route, huh?
娘，其他人都跑走了，村里没人了。
That you cannot say for sure, see. Come on. Do not be sure that there's nobody left to see use food.
爹爹要是一直不回来，我们要一直在家里等吗？
Well, personally, I think I would have left already. But okay. Then again, I wouldn't have 2 children to take care of, so... Also a factor.
等吧，都等了他那么久了，也不差这几天。
You only have so much food left.
我们不逃吗？
不逃。
Mom replied in a low voice. Actually, I could sort of guess why Mom didn't want to go out. My brother was sick and couldn't walk on his own. Fleeing with our little brother was wasn't easy, nor could we leave him behind. Besides, Dad had mentioned the presence of tigers, bandits, and even evil spirits in the distant mountains. If Dad had been here to protect us, we would have dared to venture out. Are you sure about that? But with Dad gone, Mom wouldn't dare to flee with us alone. The porridge was ready. Mom fed my younger brother the porridge. He didn't make any noise, just ate the porridge with his eyes closed. Yeah. Permanent mental damage. Great. Good job. Permanent brain damage, I mean. If his mouth weren't opening and closing, I would have thought something was wrong with him. After my brother finished the bowl of porridge, Mom started to pack things up as if she was going to head out.
娘，你要出去吗？
趁着刚喝了粥，还有些力气，我去刮一些树皮。
Mom said calmly. She grabbed a knife, put on a straw hat, and was about to head out.
我也想跟你一起去。
你干嘛出去？在家看着弟弟。
Yeah, I shall do so, I guess.
不行，我怕你和爹爹一样不回来了。
Kind of understandable.
娘，让我跟你一起吧。
I just realized, you know, when we started this game, the dude we killed was her father. That much I know for sure. And that scene ended with us finding the body outside of the grave we dug for him. So I guess they will find him now. Great! Very motivating. Let's go.
行，那我们一起出门。我背着弟弟，你给我多搭把手。
Mom hesitated for a short while, but still agreed to my request. Mom handed me the knife used to cut tree bark. She then put my brother in a bundle and strapped the bundle to her back. My brother still slept with his eyes closed, not moving a muscle. Mom carried him on her back, stooping slightly, with one hand tightly gripping the rope that connected her to my brother and the other hand holding mine. The three of us headed out together. Mom and I looked around for a while and found a grove of trees near home. Surprisingly, these woods differed from what I had seen 2 days ago. The trees in the woods had no bark left. Every tree wherever people could reach was bare. They looked like people who had been stripped of their clothes halfway, with their upper bodies still clothed, but their lower bodies completely bare.
怎么会这样？
Everybody else ran out as well. I stared blankly at the woods in front of me, unable to believe what I was seeing.
穗儿，你不是说其他人都逃走了吗？
我也不知道，可能还有人没逃。娘，他们没有逃，先我们一步，把树皮都刮走了。
I started to panic.
穗儿，你先抱着弟弟回去。
As Mom spoke, she untied the rope behind, holding my brother. She then handed me the bundle containing
弟弟
him.
有点重，我抱着他走不动。
I took my brother from Mom, but nearly stumbled when I held him in my arms. I was very weak, and holding my brother was already quite a challenge for me. Walking back would be far too difficult.
那就背着，你背过身去，我把他系在你背上，你背他回去。
Thanks, Mom. If you already had trouble holding him, what do you think a 10-year-old will do? Struggle less? Sure. As Mom spoke, she moved behind me and tied my brother to my back. Instantly, my back felt heavy, stooped just like Mom's had been moments before. So heavy. carrying my brother was a lot harder than it had seemed when Mom was doing it. It feels like the translation has been getting rougher and rougher as we get closer to the end, not gonna lie. Felt like my brother was too heavy, almost too much for me to carry.
娘，你为什么不跟我们一起回去？
I asked Mom as I struggled to carry my brother.
我再去找找野草，野草的根有甜味，也可以吃。粥快喝完了，咱们必须备点吃的，免得饿死。
可是，要是娘也……
Mom paused briefly. She knew what I was trying to say. She knew I was worried that she wouldn't come back, just like Dad.
穗儿，我要是今天不回来，你们就把剩下的那点粥吃完。
She's not gonna be able to take care of her brother.
之后，你带着弟弟，见到老人家就叫爷爷奶奶，见到年轻的就叫伯伯姨姨。
It technically is a bot that is supposed to be fed with go away. What are they called again? Bits and all that, so it doesn't work. So he now is very hungry because he never gets any bits because I'm not a Twitch associate yet. Nobody wants to talk in my chat. That's the only thing that's left. I need to have like 3 people in my chat for a month in the yeah, at least 3 people, and I have to have 3 people talk at the same time in my chat. Yeah, those are the only requirements left. And that's not happening, so I don't mind. Same as YouTube, I will never get anything monetization wise. And that's absolutely fine. With your brother, yes. Call the elderly people, older people, grandpa and grandma, and the younger ones, uncle and aunt.
每次
Okay.
见到人都不断磕头，求别人救你们一把，多讨点吃的，和弟弟一起活下来。
Her brother is dead. Wait, I'm sorry, Mom, but no matter what you're trying to do here, he is gonna die if you leave him with her. Mom advised slowly, and I nodded.
一会儿到家后，一定要关上门，拉好门栓，除非是我来，不然谁也不能开门。
Mom continued to give me instructions. I understood what she meant and also why Mom wanted us to go back first. The woods around us seemed to have had visitors these past few days. However, whoever just finished eating the tree bark might be lurking nearby. They were really dangerous. Mom needed to be cautious, and so did I. I carried my brother on my back. Step by step, I headed towards home. My brother was really heavy, especially for me. Dizzy with each step I took. I was almost out of strength. As I walked with my brother on my back, for some reason I suddenly remembered a story Grandma used to tell me. The story was called Quafu Chasing the Sun. Many years ago, there was a giant called Quafu. Many of his people had died from the scorching sun, so Quafu wanted to go after the sun, catch it, and then make it obey commands. His people tried to dissuade him. Some said he would be roasted to death by the sun, while others said he would be exhausted to death, urging him not to go. But Quafu didn't listen. He still went after the sun. In the end, He ran and drank up the rivers along the way, but still couldn't catch up with the sun. He later died of thirst on the road. I'm not sure why I recalled the story all of a sudden. I just felt that Dad was like Quafu. If he didn't come back, if Mum didn't come back, she would be like Quafu as well. And if I died of exhaustion on the way back home, with my brother on my back, I would fall like Quafu did too.
快到家了，弟弟。最后这段路，你能不能自己下来走啊？
I love the leg to body ratio this brother of hers has going on. Tiny doll legs and then this huge ass body. I could already see our home from afar, but I was almost out of strength. Days of hunger had left me dizzy. I could see little stars blinking every time I opened or closed my eyes. Crouched on the ground, slowly undoing the rope and letting my brother down from my back. I placed him in front of me. My brother was still asleep and not moving at all.
姐姐好累啊，实在是背不动了。
I heaved out a long sigh. I heard my brother speaking, but I felt strange. I heard his voice, but somehow I felt like I didn't.
你怎么说话了？
Feeling confused, I asked my brother.
姐姐，我好饿。
My brother whispered to me, his voice ringing in my head.
饿了别担心，娘一会儿就给我们找野菜根啦。野菜根是甜的，很好吃，吃了就不饿了。姐姐，好冷。
My brother spoke again. He said this exact sentence a month or so ago when Dad hadn't left yet. Felt even more unease. My heart was racing. The sentence sounded so much like one from a month ago. Everything about it, from the tone of voice to the way it was said, was exactly the same. I reached over and put my hand over my brother's forehead. His forehead wasn't hot. It was cold.
弟弟，
I froze and started panicking a bit. I thought I made a mistake. I reached over and touched him again. He was cold. He was still cold.
弟弟，
The trembling voice, I called out to him while I reached over to gently touch his hand, legs, and chest. Cold. They were all cold.
弟弟。
I cried out in shock and used my fingers to pry open his tightly shut eyes. His pupils had already dilated. They were dark, without any sparkle. My head hurt a lot. The sudden chill made my entire body tremble. It occurred to me that starting from yesterday, I hadn't seen my brother move at all. My mom fed him porridge. He didn't actually open his mouth when the spoon approached. Instead, Mom used the wooden spoon to pry his mouth open and forcefully shove it in. Mom managed to feed him a lot of porridge, most of which ended up in his stomach, but some dribbled down from the corners of his mouth and he still didn't react at all. Hungry. We were too hungry. Mom and I were too hungry and we were already hallucinating. No wonder. My brother was already long dead. He died long before we knew it. Mom returned home at night. She found very few wild grass roots because most of the wild grass had already been pulled by others and eaten. She looked lost, clutching a tattered cloth bundle and found me sobbing while holding my brother. I cried as I told her about my brother's death. On hearing this, she trembled, staring blankly ahead. The ragged cloth bundle containing the wild grass slipped from her fingers and fell to the ground with a soft thud. And after that, Mom didn't say anything at all. She simply walked to the side of the bed and lifted my brother up, whose body was cold. She rocked him back and forth, softly singing a song I couldn't understand. I had a dream. In my dream, I saw Grandma and my little brother. They were still standing in the clouds while looking at me from afar without saying a word. Suddenly, my brother extended his arm while holding a fist, getting me to check out the thing in his palm with a smile on his face. I walked over, step by step, to check it out. My brother's fingers slowly opened, revealing the treasure he had been hiding in his palm. In his hand was a piece of meat, a cooked, delicious-smelling piece of meat. In the middle of the night, I was woken up by the delicious smell of meat, so I wasn't dreaming at all. It really did smell like meat. The smell drifted over from nearby right into my nostrils. My stomach lurched, then growled. I was almost out of strength. My body felt as light as a kite. But when I smelt that smell, my entire body seemed to be filled with something. It suddenly felt heavier. Smells so good. Meat smells so good. I licked my upper lip and immediately sat up straight. I then opened my eyes and looked toward the source of the smell of meat. Turned out Mom was cooking it. Mom had a pot set up while she squatted down next to it. She was humming a song while cooking meat. The flames were gently flickering in the darkness of night. She threw my brother's tattered clothes into the fire, fanning the flames with a palm leaf fan. The soup in the pot boiled, and the smell of meat wafted through the air. I walked toward Mom, feeling confused. I didn't know where she got the meat from. Yeah, she could definitely use something, but her own son, for sure. Yeah. She tilted her head, looked at me with a blank stare, and called out my brother's name.
彩儿，你来啦！我刚才抓了一只小猪仔，煮给你吃。快煮好了。
娘，我是穗儿。
穗儿，穗儿，你快去找彩儿，让她尝尝我做的肉汤。话说，我刚才做梦，梦到了你姥姥，她劝我回娘家。我说我不能回，因为我答应了你爹，一定要照顾好你们。你姥姥知道我要留下来，就不劝我了。她带我见了个土地老爷，让我给土地老爷磕了好几个头。土地爷真好，他送了我一只小猪仔。那小猪仔白白胖胖的，一看就能吃好久。
Sure.
穗儿，你猜怎么着？我本来以为那只小猪仔只是在梦里有，没想到醒了后竟能把它从梦里带出来。所以我就把剩下的水都下锅了，要把那小猪仔煮给你们吃。
Well, most of the time, shortly before you completely keel over, you have this one final energy thingy, and I guess that went into full-on craziness for her, and add that to the fact that she lost her favorite child, her son. That probably just added to that. She was always a bit on the not so sane side, I would say. But yeah, losing her son definitely just didn't help.
才儿先吃一块猪腿，穗儿再吃，先给你们吃就好，娘最后再吃。
Mom spoke to me non-stop as she stood there, seemingly rooted to the spot. I slowly walked to the pot and looked at the soup with its meat emanating a savory scent. And, well, Sir Mansui did say that she was also kind of hallucinating her brother to be alive, so... I don't know. Would be interesting to read up on some near-death experiences there, I guess, to see if people would... But I think if you're thirsty, you also imagine everything to be water, basically, so I guess here it's everything turns into food. Yep. Then the faint mist dissipated, slowly revealing the shape of the boiling meat. When I noticed the shape of the meat, my eyes immediately widened. A cold despair surged up from my spine and swallowed me in an instant. I was going to scream at first, but it was as if something was strangling me and I couldn't make a sound. Mom had gone mad. Actually, I wanted to go mad like her too and look at this meat soup of it as if it were cooked with a piglet. But I couldn't. The meat in the pot had a sour smell similar to the meat of the kitten cooked months ago. It smelled nothing like pork at all, and as it bobbed up and down in the boiling pot, I could make out its shape little by little. Despite being swollen and distorted from cooking, I could still recognize him.
娘，你说的不是猪崽子，这是弟弟呀！
I screamed in horror, my voice instantly filling the cold room. When Mom heard what I said, her body trembled violently at first, and then her smile rose. She slowly stretched her hand and reached into the boiling pot. She grabbed my brother's hand in the pot and quickly pulled back her hand before falling backwards to the ground. Mom didn't move at all, like a clay sculpture. I crouched down and stared blankly at Mom. I didn't cry this time. We didn't talk. After a long while, I suddenly heard Mom's heart-wrenching scream.
穗，快说，你是怎么弄死弟弟的？崽儿一直都是好好的，怎么跟你回家里头他就死了？你杀了弟弟！你杀了弟弟！啊！
Mom pressed me onto the ground and started choking me as if she wanted me dead.
我杀的弟弟，弟弟喝粥的时候就死了。
你撒谎！就是你掐死的你弟弟！撒谎！穗儿，我怎么养了你这个不孝女？你让咱家都断子绝孙了！ 我怎么跟你爹交代？怎么跟你奶奶交代？说，你说啊！啊！
Mom kept on crying while choking me. It was choking me so hard I could hardly breathe.
这也不是我杀的弟弟，求你别杀我，我可以给你画草的手字。你在家躺着就行，我去找吃的。
I'm amazed how well she can speak even though she's being strangled. Hi, baby.
我会孝顺，我不会让你饿死。求求你别杀我！
I cried and begged my mom was thrashing my body about. When she saw me crying and begging her, she instantly started panicking. Confusion, pain, guilt, fear, sadness. I saw a range of emotions flash through my mother's eyes. When the emotions faded, Mom seemed to be sane again. The sad emotion in her eyes made me feel like she was finally back to her old self. She let go of me and stood there like a puppet. She's totally gonna kill herself, isn't she? She then took 2 steps back and sat back down on the ground again. After she sat on the ground, she curled her body up. She wrapped her arms around her knees like a little girl, buried her head in them, and then stopped moving. She seemed to be crying and laughing at the same time. She wasn't paying attention to me for now. Seeing my mother like this, and realizing that she didn't seem to want to kill me anymore, I staggered to my feet. I didn't have time to wipe my tears before I hurriedly ran out of the house. I headed out, trying to find something to eat for Mom. She wasn't going to kill me for now, but there was no telling when she'd try to choke me to death again. Mom had gone mad. She really had. My brother was dead, and that had made her go mad. After she went mad, she even blamed everything on me and wanted to kill me. Her love for me wasn't even half what she had for my brother. No, probably not even 1/10 of it. If I died, she definitely would have cooked me instantly and had my brother eat my flesh. Bad Mom. Bad Mom. With this thought, I felt aggrieved and bitter in my heart. Yeah, she sucked from the beginning, so I don't really feel very attached to anyone in the family. Even the father was a bit icky for me, not gonna lie, but out of all of the family members, he was the only one that was somewhat close to Mansui and actually listened to her. So, yeah, I can forgive him somewhat. But the rest of the family just straight up sucked. And yeah, it's historically accurate that women or little girls that were not very welcome in families, and look at China now, it's still the case. With their one-child policy, even though I think they got rid of that now, if I remember correctly. Finally. As I walked, I had absentmindedly kicked at the dirt along the roadside. I mentally cursed my mom as I cried. The tears didn't fall, but I knew I was crying. I was the one who was born first. I was the one who knew Mom longer. Why did she treat me like that? Dad wouldn't be so biased towards my brother. Even though my brother could carry on the family name and take the imperial examination, he wouldn't treat me like distressed goods. He wouldn't want to kill me for my brother. As if I wasn't even my mom's kid, as if she didn't carry me in her womb for 10 months and gave birth to me. It was more like she adopted me from somewhere. I hate Mom. I hate how she was unfair to me. I hate how she loved my brother more. She didn't love me at all. I felt aggrieved, cried, but tears wouldn't come. I was a bit dizzy from hunger, but I didn't stop walking. Where could I find wild grass? Where could I find wild grass? I walked around in a panic, searching for wild grass near our house. After half an hour, I still hadn't found anything. No, I couldn't go home empty-handed. If I could find any wild grass, Mom got mad. She might kill me. She might choke me to death and then cook me and eat my flesh. The thought of that terrified me. So I searched desperately, not daring to rest for a moment. Early the next morning, the sun rose from the other side of the mountain. I finally found some wild grass. I dragged my exhausted body back home with a bundle of grass. I was still scared before I pushed the door open. I was scared that Mom would go mad again and charge toward me to try to choke me to death. But when I pushed the door open and saw the scene inside, I stood dumbfounded at the doorway. Yep, called it. Creak. Creak. The sound of a rope swaying. The sound of the water boiling. Mom was hanging in midair. Her shadow was very long, enveloping me in the darkness and completely blocking out the morning light. With her head lower and hair disheveled, her face remained hidden. Her hands and feet hung naturally, while the soles of her feet showed signs of bruising, and a wooden chair lay kicked aside nearby. Pando, not the time. Creak. Creak. Why does it look like she either did the 180 with the head or had her feet broken and absolutely twisted? She was hung on a rope that was swaying ever so slightly. The morning sunlight streamed through the window pane, illuminating her dirty dress. Mom looked like a dead moth caught in a spider web. When a moth dies that way, its wings would still be spread, making it appear suspended in the air. I called out to Mom softly, kneeling before her right in her shadow. Just moments ago I was scared of Mom. I feared she would still be insane and kill me, but now I wished she would speak to me again. Creak, creak, the sound of ropes swaying. Gurgle, gurgle, the sound of water boiling. I'm all alone now. Realizing this, I numbly crouched down, then crawled forward in agony for a few more steps. I didn't know what to do. I just wanted to hide. I curled myself up and hid under Mom's shadow. Her shadow swayed back and forth while the darkness enveloped me. Mom was hanging in the house while my brother was in the pot. Grandma was buried in the backyard while Dad was nowhere to be found. And where should I go? Well, she made it out somehow. Chapter 15, Fireworks. Apparently this is the final chapter, but I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, actually. After 2 days in the wagon, we finally reached Luoyang on the third day. Luoyang, our original destination. Originally, Tang and I were supposed to bring 4 lambs here, but things changed. I killed Tang. 3 lambs were sent away and settled. Now it's just me and Muncie. We got off the wagon at a desolate spot a few miles from Luoyang and trekked towards the city. After about an hour, I spotted the city in the distance. Luoyang's walls were massive, standing over 100 feet tall and giving off a sturdy, imposing vibe. All things considered, I think just because she was starved to no end, she would probably eat the wild grass first that her mother and herself found, but eventually I'm not sure if she would stoop to cannibalism. If she saw no other way out, maybe, but then again, she had like 2 portions of rice left and the wild grass roots, so she could have made something with that. Let's hope. Let's hope. The walls were made of alternating blue bricks while the gates were striking red. At this moment, the city gate stood open with people coming and going continuously. I silently rejoiced that Luoyang wasn't sealed off like Haizhou, saving us a lot of trouble. However, there were some changes around the city, possibly due to the rebellion. Outside the city walls stood a 10-foot-high earthen rampart. Seemed newly built, likely for battle. Luoyang is still far from the northern invaders, so it seems like construction is more about dealing with rebellions.
你们从哪儿来的？
Somewhere. Bonjour.
这么远，有录影吗？
No. Sure, here it is. We do. I handed the guard the pass from a package, and he squinted at it for a
还
moment.
真是画着来的。旁边这小姑娘是你什么人？
Daughter. Sister. Sure. My sister. Oh yeah, they have a 15 years age gap.
行，进城吧。你们兄妹俩年龄都差得大。
Yep. The guard eyed us suspiciously, but decided to let us in without further ado. Holding Mansui's hand, I guided her through the Lijing gate and into Luoyang. The streets in Luoyang were wider than any we'd been to before. We walked along a big road connecting east and west with lots of shops on both sides, including tea houses, taverns, medicine shops, and pawn shops. When we turned right at a corner, we stepped into a livelier market area. There were more people here, and we passed butcher shops, fish stalls, and all sorts of stores lining the streets. In addition to the shops, there were vendors and umbrellas in the open spaces. Sorry about that. In addition to the shops, there were vendors and umbrellas in the open spaces, and people were always coming and going. Some were haggling with the vendors, some were resting under the shade, cooling off with their palm fans, and some were hauling ox carts to make deliveries. There were women buying groceries, scholars with square heads, travelling merchants, and you could even spot some caravan guards with hidden weapons.
良爷，
Ooh.
洛阳好热闹啊！
Isn't it? I remembered being even busier last time, with crowds everywhere, making it hard to walk. But these last few years, with all the disasters and famine, people have less money, so nowhere is as lively as before. I commented to Mansui, thinking back on the Luoyang of the past. Yeah, felt like there used to be more folks around, fewer faces full of trouble.
梁爷，我们先去哪儿呢？
Well, good question. Where do we go first? Let's find an inn first. Drop off our stuff, then we can explore.
好啊，
She nodded in agreement. We kept walking ahead, passing through the busier market area until we reached a quieter street. Temples and shrines lined both sides of the road. After walking east for a bit, we arrived at an inn. This inn was different from the others, from the ones in Huazhou and Shanzhou. Those cities. It wasn't the usual spot for shady dealers like us. It was just a regular inn that I wasn't too familiar with. I had heard about this place from Tang before. He mentioned that this inn in Luoyang was usually quiet, so if our usual spots were full, we could stay here without drawing too much attention.
哎，两位客官，这是要打尖儿还是住店啊？
Wow, we have a different design for once. Well, passing through actually. As we entered the inn, the waiter greeted us. Staying 2 rooms, 1 room, please.
哎，好嘞，开一间房，
Right?
一晚是200文铜钱。
But the inn still looks the same. I feel like they have some trouble drawing male characters in a different way. But he doesn't look as sinister as the other Isan, was it? So it's fine. Someone. Got it, 1 room for the night. That'll be 200 copper coins? In comparison, he looks really, really nice. Actually. Especially if you compare it to the smile of Tang and Isan's whole thing. This artist has a problem with proportions and faces, I feel like. But overall, in comparison to some of the others, you know, you weren't there. Yeah, you know what? Let me do this real quick. Let me give you this tool. Look at him. He looks awesome, right? He looks not bad, at least. And the description for him was a face that actually looked kind of bad and was like, what? Hello? Do you have eyes?
哎，好嘞，开一间房，一晚是200文铜钱。
Alright, got 1 room for that, that's 200 copper coins. For sure. The waiter smiled and said to me, pushing over a small wooden tray. I took out 200 coins from my pouch and placed them on the tray, and the waiter quickly handed me a wooden token.
楼上第3间房，您上楼直走便能看到了。
Thank you. I took the wooden token from the waiter, and well, okay, technically, since this is a calm spot where they could go do their business if everything else is full, I guess this place isn't the most clean of businesses. Let's go. I gestured for Mansui to follow me upstairs.
梁爷，等一会儿，我想问小二爷一个问题。
Oh, what's it gonna be? Suddenly Mansui stopped me. She approached the waiter's counter and popped her head up.
哦，小客官，想问什么？
The innkeeper looked at Mansui, a smile forming on his face. He seemed amused by being called Mr. Waiter.
小二爷，我们若是从外地来的， 想逛一逛洛阳，有什么？
这位
Oh,
小客
sorry.
官，你可问对人了。我是土生土长的洛阳人，对这儿可太了解了。
Cool. Tell me all about it.
您若是喜欢花，可以去城西南的花园看花；若是喜欢河呀，可以去东边的禅河转转。
Thank you. Thank you. Wow. That looks. It sounds awesome. I can either go flower watching or river watching. Awesome.
若是喜欢凑热闹，就在丽景门附近逛逛，那边呀有很多集市店铺。
If you're into crowds. Well, that's one way of putting it. Well, who knows? Maybe one of us is an artist and we like to draw river scenery, you know? But yeah, this description is just what the fuck? Go flower watching, river watching, and if you're into crowds, you know. Go there.
哎呀，突然想起来，你们来得巧了，今天是特殊的日子，晚上有庙会。
Special temple fair. That actually sounds like something that could be interesting, not like the other places. Temple fair.
听说王爷要庆祝喜事，特别允许这几天开夜市。
Oh, alright, yeah, it's his birthday soon. Well, if you look at the crowd of people, then you're fine. You're just people watching after all. He sure does, he sure does. Well, he knows what he wants people to get to. Like, he's like, well, if you like flowers, or if you like rivers, or if you like crowds. Oh, I almost forgot there actually was something that is interesting. There's this there, and, well, this inn has a stall there. Maybe you could go there? Or maybe he knows somebody that is manning a store there. Well, that would be at the celebration for the Lord inside the Lord's manor.
这次夜市啊，听说不仅会请戏班子唱戏，还会放烟火呢。
Wow, a theater performance and fireworks even. Wow. Okay, we have to think back. It's the 17th century. We got this. Wow, awesome. Sounds great. Let's go there. We fell silent. We ignored the waiters' talk of the temple fair, night market, the fireworks and theatre performances. Our focus was on the one behind it all. Yeah, the Lord, the one running the fair. He was the swine demon after all.
良爷，屯妖为什么要办庙会？
To pay for his sins somehow? You know? Give himself a clear conscience. I guess it's for his birthday celebration. You lot, those lambs, were originally meant as offerings for his birthday. But you never know. It could also be some other happy occasion that's got him in the mood to share the joy with the people. Those rich and noble ones, they've always been whipping up whatever happy events. Who knows? I chuckled lightly, mocking the vast differences between people's lives.
良爷，你说屯妖会来逛庙会吗？
What? yet. Everything's fine. And no, the swine demon will not show up there. Yeah, you gotta love him. Or hate him. You know, after reading that review about this game, about him being all, like, whiny and making excuses and all that, I didn't feel like he did make them all that much. It just feels like the game forgets what it has written down like 2 sentences ago, and then he just repeats something that was already said, which then kind of comes across as an excuse, but it just is the game forgetting that he already said it before. Nah, he's too full of himself and too cautious. Doubt he'll bother. And even if he does, there isn't much you can do. When the swine demon moves, he's always got tough guards around him. I can't handle them, let alone you. Liang, how do you know that he's always surrounded by tough guards? And what do you mean you can't handle Muncie here? What? Didn't I tell you already? Forget about seeking revenge. You're not dealing with some small-time landlord. It's the powerful swine demon lord. You trying to go after him, it won't work out. Just throwing your life away. I threw in a word to Mansui again. After that, we fell silent. We wandered the streets for a while aimlessly, just walking around. If you want to go, we'll check out the temple fair tonight. Well, if we let out of our sight, that is. But I think I actually went for the second true ending, which leads to both of their death. But the other one just didn't sit right with me. Well, there would have been here to choose to not negotiate and join. Although no, it did say that we wouldn't join the rebels then, so there has to be another choice to join the rebels, I hope. I hope I'm not locked out of the true ending yet. I'm not up for anything else tonight. You got any places in mind you want to see? After a while, I asked her. We had a couple of hours until sunset, and the temple fair's beginning, so we'd need to find somewhere to kill the time.
我想去屯妖的王府前转转。
Yeah, that doesn't sound suspicious at all. No, no. She looked at me with a wink, making the suggestion. You're still not giving up on revenge, huh? Trying to chase the joint? I frowned, giving her a glare. How stubborn can this lass be?
不是，其实考虑过后，我觉得梁爷说的有道理。
I don't trust you, girl, but okay, go on.
我身体弱，又势单力薄，根本刺不了屯妖。
Alright, yeah, I still don't trust you.
最近，家人也不在梦里对我说话了，我可以不复仇了。
Great, we're moving on. Nice.
只是我还是有些好奇，想去屯妖住的地方看看，亲眼看看我的仇人住的咋样。
Yeah, I still don't trust you, Mansui. The lass bowed her head, mumbling to me. It looked like she wrestled with herself before speaking up. That's fine. Giving up revenge is fine. I'll take her to see then. Alright. Good that you've figured out not to seek revenge, but you're quite gutsy. Wasn't it him who took your sister before? He always likes your type. Aren't you afraid his men might spot you and take you back to his palace?
不怕，有梁爷护着我，所以我不怕。
Great that you're not afraid if I'm around, but don't trust him too much. Mansui looked up, smiling at me. Her words warmed my heart. Okay, I'll take you, but you hold my hand the whole way there, and when we're there as well. I sighed, planning to show her around outside the swine demon's palace. This is our death sentence. While in the capital, I glimpsed the imperial palace, the swine demon's mansion, almost a match for it, extending from Town Front Street in the east to Cross Street in the west, from Courthouse Temple in the north to the Lotus Temple in the south. The walls, half as tall as Luoyang's city wall, enclosing it like an iron fortress. Its gates, a vermilion entrance, flanked by 2 stone lions. Isn't that... Yeah, he is part of the imperial family, I know, but isn't that, is there an English word equivalent? Brain work. I don't know. The only thing that comes to mind is Amtsanmaßung, which would be the German word. But then it doesn't necessarily fit. English. Presumption of office. Yeah, definitely not. But yeah, him acting too much like royalty, I feel like, wouldn't it get him killed eventually? Sorry, lamb. Do I have enough here? Its gates have been gate-flanked by 2 stone lions. 1 lion male, the other female, and how do we know that? Are they atomically correct? Or how do we know that one is female and one is male? Because I see no mane that would suggest a male lion. Or genitals, for that matter. Standing tall and fierce, those lions, crafted so fine they'll keep their color for ages. The crafting has nothing to do with them keeping their color, my dude. What are you talking about? Okay, sure. Whatever you say, Liang. Whatever you say.
他住的房子真气派呀。
Isn't it? Yeah. Mansui held my hand, gazing at the stone lions by the entrance. Yeah, it's almost as impressive as the Imperial Palace in the capital.
梁爷，你说他有多少粮食？
A lot. Way too much. Not sure, but I've heard he owns half the field in the Central Plains, with his people also collecting grain from nearby Shan and Jin. I replied casually. Let's finish up and move on. We can check out other places later. I called Mansui and took her hand, walking away. This place felt heavy. Just standing at the gate, I could imagine the fun he had inside those tall walls and the kids he slaughtered. I didn't want to stick around. Understandable. As dusk approached, Mansui and I wandered aimlessly around. We visited some temples and the drum tower. As we explored more of Luoyang, the streets grew emptier and our destination more remote. Our conversations faded as we walked, and the streets started buzzing again. People were heading west, and we followed the crowd. The sun set behind the city walls, and we transitioned from daylight to dusk, and finally into the night. The market to the west lit up with lanterns. Vendors set up the stalls, actors put up the stages. We walked around a bit more. Vendors hawked their goods, actors performed on stage. Down below, merchants sold fabrics, makeup, iron tools. On stage, actors' faces were painted white, red and black. People bustled about, chatting, pausing, buying goods, watching plays. It feels like I've read the same thing 50 times over now. This game could be so much shorter if they stop repeating themselves. Most people at the fair came with their kin and pals, all cozy and close. They strolled hand in hand, chatting and laughing like peas in a pod. Though Mansui... yeah, with the same thing though, like the mark on the hand. Vendors set up the stalls, actors their stages. Vendors tried to sell their goods, actors performed. Merchants sold fabric, on stage actors. Like, come on, okay, I get it. Shut up. Though Mansui and I were also hand in hand, there was a gap between us and them. Their merry chatter seemed far away, like it was on one side of the lantern light, while we were on the other. We are rootless wanderers. In such a lively place, we seemed like strangers out of place. So, without a word, we veered away from the hubbub into the quiet. As we walked on, the din faded into the buzz of insects, a solitary sound. I thought we were trying to watch the plays. We walked from the temple fair in the west to the Chan River in the east, and we just jumped in the water and there came ants here. Mansui crouched by the river, dipping her hand in the cold water. The breeze blew past and the fallen petals rustled down. Then, drifting along the dark river, the petals spun like boats set adrift. She reached out her hand, her fingers wandering in the water, and the boats slipped through the gaps in her fingers and drifted off further down the river. Oh my god, how many ants! She watched the petals drifting into the distance, lost in thought. Are you playing in the water? After watching her for a while, unable to figure out what she was doing, I awkwardly started a
不
conversation.
是，在想爹爹。
Of course you are. You used to think about your sister the most, didn't you? How come you're thinking about your dad now?
到洛阳后，便开始想爹爹了。
Who is your fucking sister? I wanna know. I asked. She answered, oh, maybe the person that saved her. But does that mean we get an extra chapter about how she gets saved then? And how that savior is killed, but that would mean that we have like at least 3 more chapters. Oh god. Don't think I'll be able to finish that tonight. When the next chapter begins, I think I'll end it. I'm already feeling my throat getting super dry. I asked. She answered. I wondered if it's just my imagination. Since arriving Luoyang, this lass seemed to have had something on her mind, becoming much quieter. Could it be that she's disappointed with Luoyang? Before coming here, she thought Luoyang was bustling, but now that she's here, she seemed to think that this big city wasn't all that, and even though the temple fair was lively, she felt out of place.
梁爷，我想问你一件事。
Yes, go ahead. Just as I was guessing her thoughts, she suddenly asked me. Yes?
倘若你的仇人有一天变好了，不再杀人，彻底成好人了。
Oh, you're talking about me?
若是这样的话，你觉得自己还该复仇吗？
Mansui didn't look at me. She dipped her hand in the river and asked me quietly. That's what the lass was thinking about. Kids always seeing things so simply. So the swine demon threw a temple fair today. She had a quick, good time with the people, and now she doesn't see him as an enemy anymore. Bad guys stay bad. It's hard to change. Even if that swine demon is throwing a temple fair today, seeing people laughing and joking around doesn't mean he's a good person. After all, there are more people he's killed, more family he's ruined, all stuff you aren't seeing here. Plus, even if a bad guy turns over and you leave, they can't just wipe away their past crimes. If it were me, no matter how much my enemy changed, I'd still go after them for revenge. I spoke to Mansui, slowly. One word at a time. My dude, you just signed your own death sentence. Very good. This time, I, who usually didn't say much, told her a lot. These words were probably all my thoughts. For many years, I pondered the same question. If my parents didn't die from a natural disaster, but because of someone's wrongdoing, would I seek revenge? You would say a bomb going up in a marketplace is a natural disaster. Okay, interesting. I think a lot of people that got killed by some sort of suicide bomber would disagree, but sure. Natural disaster it is. I think I probably would. If my enemy was a specific person and not just an act of heaven, I'd have a clear target thinking all day about killing them. Then I wouldn't have been haunted by the nightmare of the day for so many years, fearing it repeatedly, even scared of the sight of fire. Oh, speaking of fire, didn't the waiter say there would be fireworks over Luyang tonight? How come we haven't seen them yet? Getting late now. Surprised they haven't lit up the sky with fireworks yet. Let's head back to the inn. Curfew hits soon. Time to call it a night. Told Mansui. She nodded, stood up, and reached out her hand, wanting to hold mine.
向前。
Of course. Just then, a voice rang out behind us. Okay. I don't feel threatened at all. Let's go. I glanced at the noise's source. Two raggedy beggars stood near the dark riverbank. He does, doesn't he? It looks like they copied his face and were like, okay, we can't have him have the same face, so let's give him thicker eyebrows and let's just, instead of having the eyes up, let's just copy them downwards. They wore shabby clothes, a face grimy with coal dust. Sure, if you say so. Both had crooked teeth in their half-opened mouths. One brandished a notched cleaver, the other wooden stick. One had a squint, the other blinked frequently. Skinny and short. They didn't seem too tough as robbers.
愣着干啥？没听见 M 夫要抢钱吗？快给啊！
Why should I?
对，哥说的对，不给钱，给吃的也成。
I love how that description helps me. Nothing. Not at all. Like, I cannot see anyone blinking rapidly in a still image. Just because he stutters? Oh my god. How dare you, Dawn. No mercy. He even said please. You mugging in the city? Aren't you scared I'll fetch the soldiers? I gave them a scornful look. These scrawny two didn't seem to grasp the situation. I might not even have to unsheath my blade. Might as well have a chat, see what they are all about.
立足？你找不到的，现在立足都在庙会，这附近哪有立足啊？对，找不到。他们懒，报案也不管。
The two beggars moved closer to me, looking tough. What if I say no?
俺们人多，不想让你女儿看你挨打，就掏钱掏吃的。
The squinting beggar raised his voice, almost shouting at me. Only two of you and you call it a crowd? I sneered again.
妈的，真是欠世道！爹，俺们上！
The squinting beggar, fed up with my teasing, finally got mad. He lunged at me with his battered knife, while the other one hesitated for a moment before also charging at me from the side. I scoffed. Stepping back with my left foot, I opened up some space. The squinting beggar, unable to stop in time, rushed past me. I lifted my foot and kicked him in the rear with a quick motion. My kick knocked him off balance, sending him tumbling to the ground in a heap.
不许打俺哥！
The stuttering beggar tightened his expression and charged towards me from the side. Despite holding a stick moments ago, he now dropped it on the ground and attempted to reach out to grab me. I raised my hand, holding the sheath of my blade. First, I dodged his lunge, then I tapped him on the back with the sheath. With a thud, he also fell to the ground, collapsing alongside his brother, because he was touched in the back. Doot! And done. Fight over. The two of them lay piled on top of each other, one clutching his rear, the other his back, grimacing and groaning. Seriously? You two think you can rob with those moves? Aren't I? I just know where to poop and everyone that falls down. I scoffed, my foot pressing down on the fallen duo.
好汉，俺们不敢了，再也不敢了。
Never again, right, and I should trust you. Why?
是俺们错了，放了俺们吧。
I'll even give you some food, alright? The two beggars huddled together, cowering. I wonder how they even had the guts to attempt a robbery with such cowardly behavior. Say sorry and you're off. Not happening. With the soldiers busy at the temple fair, no one around. If I kill you here, who will know? I sneered, then pretended to reach for my blade as I talked. Honestly, it was obvious these two weren't out to kill me from the get-go, so I wasn't planning to off them either. Yikes, Dawn! Out for blood today, I see. Not enough human meat cooked yet. After a whole human child was cooked and almost eaten by the family of said child. But maybe it was time to scare them, teach them a lesson.
别杀我叔叔！别杀我爹爹！
Hey. Oh, a different child. I thought that was Mansui was a bit taken aback. Out of nowhere, I heard a girl crying out. I halted my blade, turning to see who it was. A young girl appeared from the shadow of the nearby trees. She seemed about the same age as Sir, maybe 5 or 6 years old. This girl was thin, with half her face smeared with soot, her hair all messy, and she wore a patched-up coarse hemp garment. She has a better outfit it doesn't fit her, sure, but it's at least complete. But Matsui is still running around with an messed up outfit, and we haven't gotten her anything new except for new shoes. And that was uncomfortable to sit through. That whole shoe putting on scene took 10 minutes, but okay. But her eyes were strikingly clear. She stared at me with big, round eyes, a mix of fear, anger, and frustration evident in her gaze. Cute. She grabbed the stick her uncle left behind and swung it at my leg, but her lack of strength only made it flop against my leg harmlessly, like a drunk tottering around. I kept quiet, watching her with a stern face. She swung the stick clumsily, crying. Tears rolled down her dirty, coal-stained cheeks like little pearls.
你不打，不打，好汉！好汉饶命，饶命！妮儿不懂事儿，别跟他一般见识。
You are safe with me. The squinting beggar, seeing his daughter hitting me repeatedly, seemed worried that I might retaliate against the girl and started pleading with me. Seeing them in this state, I felt a strange sense of guilt, as if I were the robber and they were the ones being robbed.
良夜，
Matsui stood nearby, signaling me with her eyes. She probably hoped I'd let these beggars go. Yeah, but the way they're acting definitely feels more like I was the one attacking them. And he is guilt-ridden after being told that, well... I see you with your dumpster fire in both hands. Yeah, me! She probably hoped that I let these people go. Seeing these two foolish beggars with a little girl to care for, my anger faded, and I felt like I could let them go. But is it just about letting them go? Is there something else I need to do? Offer them money. Yes. Stop it. I spoke up to stop the girl, and at the same time I stopped stepping on the beggars lying on the ground. I'm not going to kill your dad and uncle, so you don't need to hit me either. Although money isn't gonna help them, let's be honest here. I grabbed the girl's stick and said to her. The girl stopped hitting me. She dropped the stick and looked at me all sad, like I was the one who'd been whacking her with it.
你真不杀他们？
Nope, I said it. I stick to it, I said quietly. Meanwhile, I reached out to help the two beggars lying on the ground. Get up. Why are you two robbing anyway? I asked as I helped the two beggars up. The two just pulled up by me, were still a bit shaken, didn't react right away. Got hands and feet, why not work for a living? Oh my god, that reminds me so much of our former finance minister, and I'm already getting war flashbacks. Liang, no. Oh my god, I'm so sick of that discussion. No. They look like able-bodied man. They could totally work. What else is new? He also has a very deformed ribcage, not gonna lie. Got hands and feet, why not work for a living? I asked again, a hint of impatience in my tone.
爷，好汉爷，俺们也想找个营生做，只是找不到啊。俺和弟弟都天生长得丑，弟弟说话还不利索。前2年光景好的时候还好找营生做，现在店铺关了那么多，没地方要俺们。
You don't even look that bad. if you compare it to Tang and Isan, you kind of look. Sure, you look a bit funny, but everything. Yeah, I. Your mom must really hate you if she tells you, well, you're ugly, you guys. You know, halo effect is a thing, and there is the beauty bonus you get if you look good for the person that's trying to employ you. You have a higher chance to be taken serious, and well, of course, getting hired, even though you might even have lower or less a less impressive thingy. Oh my god, my English just left absolutely. So I can absolutely understand that he would be like, yeah, I guess because we look ugly, but it in a job world where he has to properly just move things around, it does not matter what you look like.
俺那屋里头的，几个月前生了一场病，俺们没钱治病，他就病死了，女儿便没了娘。这几个月，别说治病了，俺们吃饭的钱都没了，所以便讨饭吃。
Yeah, well, he's actually the funnier looking one, but he can talk in straight sentences. I guess that helps. That helps a lot. Pretty marriage. It might have been well, okay, no, political marriage would not be feasible for that cast they're in. But it might have been set in stone by the parents of those two. Or those guys died, who knows?
可这样也不是办法，现在的人都穷，好不了多少。
True.
今天西边在搞庙会，俺们被猪油蒙了心，想着没有捕快在这附近巡夜，便动了抢劫的心思。
You think again, my dude.
好汉爷呀，俺们实在是饿极了，饿昏了眼，才敢惹您这阴茬，对不住。
The squinting beggar told me this whole story. I watched the girl next to him closely, and when he talked about her mother, her eyes seemed to lose some spark. Judging by their poor robbery skills, they didn't seem like regular thieves. They must be truly starving to even think about robbing during the fair. Hungry? I asked the beggar girl.
饿很久了，肚子疼。
She whispered to me. I listened to her, reaching into my bundle. The squinting beggar beside us kept a close eye on me, his scared gaze glued to my every move. I understood his concern. He was likely afraid I'd suddenly pull out a blade and harm the girl. After searching through my bundle for a while, I found a handful of silver pieces. Here, take these silvers, 3 taels. Tomorrow, go to the market, get yourself some food. It'll keep you going for a few months.
这，俺们不好收吧？
Take it. It's not for you, it's for the girl. I fought her father and uncle right in front of her. Consider this silver as an apology. He's acting so high and mighty. I stepped up, slid the silver into the beggar girl's hand. She glanced down, checking out the silvers. Then she looked up, her big eyes locking onto me. I flashed a quick grin, trying to be friendly. Seeing my smile, tears filled her eyes.
谢谢。
No problem. She bit her lip, kept her head down, and took the silvers. I caught her quiet thanks, feeling a bit warmer inside. Yeah, it's not gonna help anyone if they find no work, but yeah, we won't change that, that's true. After that, Mansur and I said goodbye to the beggar family. We walked by the river, through the dark, dirty alleys of Luoyang. Many people were in ragged clothes, wrapped up in hay, sleeping on the side of the road. They were sprawled out or curled up, some even lying face down, not making a peep. Alright, see you in a bit. Most of them were alone, but a few were huddled with their families, keeping warm together. They seemed more likely to be alive and sleeping than the others. It was hard to tell if they were asleep or dead. If they were asleep, they might not be far from death. If they were dead, at least they were resting peacefully. The Vermilion Gate reeks of meat and wine. Yay! Final Fantasy 16 is on sale! By the roadside, the starved and frozen lie. I heard this saying somewhere. Now, thinking about it, it fits Luoyang to a T. In the city, some get more grain than they can gobble, and they are so stuffed that they turn to eat little girls alive. Yet others go hungry, starving to death right on the streets. Is this the intended way of the world? After all the disasters, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Told you. Gotta love capitalism. Best idea humanity ever had. Sarcasm alarm, sarcasm alarm. Is this how the world is supposed to be? No. But it won't change for another century at least. I reckon I've really changed. A few months back, I wouldn't even think twice about this. Back then, in this world of chaos, all I cared about was staying alive. I'd do whatever it took to survive, even if it meant sacrificing others. Except for not killing women or kids, I had almost no limits. But now, after killing Tongue and settling those little girls, it's tough for me to go back to the killing trade. Whenever it comes to killing someone, maybe I'll feel a twinge of mercy. Because, you know, the ones I off might be somebody's father or son. What made me change? Was it this journey of a mere month? Was it those lambs? Was it shadow play? Or was it her? I couldn't help glancing over at Mansui beside me. Hey, lass, I called out. She kept walking quietly, lost in her own world.
怎么了，良爷？
She raised her eyes, looking at me with confusion. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But it seemed like her eyes were red. Was this lass thinking about something? Thought about it. I'm not selling you, I said to her, each word deliberate.
不卖我了。
She seemed to struggle to believe what I was saying. She tilted her head slightly, looking at me with confusion. Yeah, not selling you. Thought about it, but selling you won't fetch much. How about this? You stick with me from now on. We head south together till we get to... Bam! All of a sudden I heard a huge bang. It cut me off mid-sentence. Fireworks shot up into the night sky, bursting against the black backdrop of the night. Red, yellow and purple lights all mixed together, blooming like chrysanthemums. Definitely how you pronounce that. My heart raced for a moment. The burst of fireworks caught me off guard. For a moment, I pictured the explosion back in the capital. Blood rain, buildings falling, countless souls lost in an instant, but it didn't last. Soon enough, I shook it off and came back to reality.
不行的。
Just as I was caught off guard by the sudden fireworks, Mansui suddenly spoke up. No? That's probably her response to my early idea. I suggested to her that I wouldn't sell her anymore, but instead I wanted to head south with her. Though I hadn't really figured out what to do with her after that. Would we make a living together doing shadow plays? Or would I find her a good future in some prosperous southern place? I didn't know, and I was a bit lost about the future. But I didn't expect this lass to say no outright. Why not? I asked, taken aback. Bam. Yeah, speaking of fireworks, I probably have to take a few days off around Sylvester. Just because of my scaredy cat dog, Jackson. We're trying some calming medicines, but he'll probably still go crazy. And since they already started firing fireworks yesterday, I am so tired of people being allowed to have their own fireworks at home. Yeah, it won't be fun. Sure not. But yeah. Just as a heads up. She was about to talk when another firework popped in the night sky. The noise from them was so loud it drowned out her words. Damn annoying. I felt a bit irritated towards these fireworks I'd been waiting for so long. What do you say just now? I raised my voice, asking her loud and clear. She turned and looked at me.
良夜，我要先去解个手，你在这里等我一下。
She's gonna run away. She lifted her head and spoke slowly. At this hour? All right, hurry up. I glanced around, unsure where the outhouse was, but she probably wouldn't mind. Bam! Another firework burst into the night sky. The fireworks painted the whole of Luoyang in dazzling colors, truly beautiful. But the loud noise made it impossible to talk normally. Annoying. Got some things to say. I'll chat with her later. But she never came back. After I agreed to let her go pee, Mansui bolted off. Funny thing. Worrying about not getting to talk to her made me realize I wasn't afraid of fireworks anymore. The images of that big explosion from years ago, which had briefly flashed in my mind just now, didn't come back. Seems like I've finally shaken off that old nightmare. After waiting a bit longer, memories of what happened about 20 days ago crept into my mind. That day, we just left Huazhou and were wandering around Mount Huazhen. That night, she said she needed to go pee too. I turned away and she tried to stab me with a dagger. That lass could be ruthless. She was kind to those little girls and even showed pity to the beggars we just encountered. So why was she so quick to try and kill me? Why is it taking so long? About an incense stick's time had passed. The firework ended, but Mensui still hadn't come back. Puzzled, I stepped out onto the streets. Maybe, just maybe, that's only a possibility. Alas, I walked out of the alley, crossed the river, and arrived at this dense bushes. She wasn't there. Didn't seem like she went to pee here. Mansi? I pushed through the bushes, past a few houses, and checked a couple of outhouses. Still no sign of her. Where are you? I went back the way we came, looking around as I went. Still couldn't find her. She's gone. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Really gone. Just like when the fireworks went off, she tricked me again. That lass acted like she needed to pee, then vanished. Fell for it again. This time, she didn't try to stop me. She just disappeared to the Luoyang fireworks. Yeah, he has like 2 brain cells. Don't judge him too hard. To be what? I was delayed, I didn't see that.
穗儿，穗儿。
Okay. But as I said, let's finish this tomorrow. To be alive. Alright, there we go. My throat is getting dry. Poor mom. Is getting back alive. is back in the world of the living, I see. Well. Wonder how long that's gonna be. Or if that's just gonna be one of her dreams again. Since she seems to have some sort of prophetic power, all things considered. But yeah. I still hope that I'm on the way to the best ending. And we can get to see them grow old together. Alright, let's go. Anyway, as always, thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Take care. And bye bye. That would definitely be so nice. So nice. But she ran away from my. Oh no. Bye bye.